when the lymphatic system is compromised, leaving one with a lifetime of severe swelling and pain. What we found out later is its severity might have been lessened or possibly even prevented if only we were better informed. That's why I'm urging anyone facing cancer treatment to get educated. Talk to your doctor. Make it part of your cancer conversation. And if you have LE, share your story. With patients and doctors working together, we can learn and live. Learn more at lymphaticnetwork.org.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome in to Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Johnny Hill producing as always. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours, getting you ready for the national championship game tonight. But it was a busy weekend in really all sports, college basketball, the national championships today, and it's not even the biggest story in the sport because of what happened last night. Got a lot of baseball news, some other news. We just had a solar eclipse. Did y'all enjoy that this afternoon, fellas? The little eclipse action we had?
No, I didn't even watch it. I was setting up for our show, so
Lame.
I missed it.
Lame.
I missed it.
I'm in good shape.
Lying.
Y'all in good shape. Everybody's retina in
All
good
right,
shape.
yeah.
No cornea burnout. Good, Johnny.
I'm great, man. Some people were pulling over. Brian, did you see that?
No, see, I was at my house watching it, so I didn't have to worry about people pulling over to watch it. I was outside with my glasses on, looking up at the sky. It was fun. It was cool. But yeah,
No retina burnout from your glasses. We can't get a plaintiff's attorney to sue 'em?
No. I think I'm gonna be all right.
Good.
I
That's
think
good.
I'm gonna be okay. But yes, it was fun.
I didn't look at the sun.
Good
I
time.
try not to most days. I sure
Yeah.
wasn't going to today when it
Yeah.
might do permanent damage.
Exactly. So you gotta have
Well,
this,
that'd be
this
some bad
special
luck, wouldn't it?
glasses. It
That'd be very bad, Brett.
I think,
Really?
I think anytime you have
Well, and Brian, you know one thing that the eclipse took out?
what's that?
Johnny's bracket.
Well, yeah.
Man,
As the
hey.
eclipse comes and goes, so does Johnny's seemingly perfect.
Oh my goodness,
bracket.
Brian.
I've been told by everybody.
Speaking
around
of
this
eclipse,
building.
that's a lot of shade there
Well,
into Johnny.
saying.
A lot of shade. I'm disheartened.
No shade. Just
But
saying.
Johnny, you did so well. You won among us, and
Sure.
you came in second in the building. And our building is not about everybody gets a trophy. So you got the same trophy Brian and I got. Zip.
Big old goose egg.
Big
there,
zero.
Johnny.
Big pat on the back.
Uh-huh.
Good, Johnny. Way to go.
Maybe next time, next year.
Congratulations.
Maybe next year.
Maybe. I
No,
don't
you
know.
still had good picking.
It was good picking.
For a first-time bracketeer, that was.
That's right. Except I don't know if I believe it.
Rookie year, man.
Okay, I've heard that.
There we go.
Beginner's
again,
luck.
Brian.
That's right.
Oh, I've never done this. Right?
what is
You
this?
moved the team out here? Oh, yeah.
What is this bracket thing y'all talking
Nid just
about?
rakes all the cash.
That's right. What do you mean? Y'all make
Oh.
picks for the NFL games?
I've never played cards before.
Oh,
Oh,
I guess I'll do that. Oh.
you don't hit on a 17, huh?
What is this pool you talk about? I hit this little white ball.
Yeah,
and then-
Yeah.
yeah.
Beginner's luck.
I know people like you, Johnny.
Way to go, Johnny. You hustled me and Brian.
That's right. It's okay.
No, it was good picking, Johnny. You did a
It
good
was.
job. And tonight we settle it.
Yep.
I think we could play this tournament 100 times, and we'd have these two teams in the finals.
I think every year I
Yeah,
would say
that's a great point,
no
Brent.
chance. But this year, the way it's gone with these two teams, how dominant they've been all season long, I probably have to agree with you.
Be some really weird scheduling to have 100 NCAA tournaments from
Sure.
November to March.
There'd be a lot of games being played. Hey, I would love a lot of day basketball. You'd have to have a lot of day basketball.
Sure would.
If you're going to fill all of it in. But yeah, I mean, these two teams have just been awesome all year long, and now to see them matched up against each other for the Natty will be fun.
How many different teams were ranked number one this year from start to finish by AP? These two and Houston.
Jeez.
Is that it?
No, Arizona was ranked number one for like
Okay.
a week, I think. I'm pretty sure they were ranked number one at one point. It hadn't been a lot. I think it's been maybe 4 or 5, if that, maybe 3
I
or
had
4.
Purdue in my preseason Final Four. I did not have Connecticut. I thought, too much to replace, coming off a national championship. staying hungry, all that good stuff. That was all down the drain, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was
That was some
that was
great
quick.
calculus I did.
So let's see. I see UConn and Houston. We're going back. We're week 10 now. Man, UConn's been number one most all the season.
From Christmas on, I've never doubted them.
No,
Nothing could dissuade me from it.
no. Purdue. So that's 3. And let's see.
I thought Houston cracked in there a week. Maybe not.
No. I already said Houston.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
the
sorry.
3 that have been number ones. And now it looks like my computer's not going to work. Arizona's been number 1. So looks like it's just been those 4.
Pretty good voting, wasn't it?
Pretty good voting, yeah. Yep, going back all the way to week 1, Purdue was number 1 in week 1, I believe. Kansas was number 1 in week 2 for
Is that right?
1 week. They also, I guess, started the season at number 1. They were week 1.
I had Kansas in my preseason 4. So
that was looking back at the AP top 25. So Kansas, Arizona, Purdue, Houston, and UConn. 5 teams have been number 1 at a
my
point this year.
preseason Final Four was Arkansas, Purdue, Kansas, and Creighton.
Well, I mean, that's not bad.
Creighton got to the
what?
8.
8, yeah.
16.
Was 16,
Lost
yeah,
to Tennessee.
That's right. Arkansas was the one that really hurt you.
I know some Tennessee fans would say they would love to replay it. I don't know that Tennessee, if you replayed all these tournaments, gets to that Purdue game in very many of them. They were fortunate.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That would be a fun, you always hear the we simmed the draft 100 times. And this is how it came out. Or we simmed it this many. They do it for everything. It feels like that'd be fun to sim the NCAA tournament 100 times, and this is who comes out.
That Texas Tennessee game, that was 50-50 game.
Yeah, it was an ugly game.
Tennessee Purdue was about a 55-45 game.
Yeah.
Percentile.
Yeah.
But we know who's in it tonight, and it's
do.
2 mighty teams. And I say if Donovan Clingan, we all agree that Clingan goes not only before Zach Edey, but well before him, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, 40 picks, 30 picks,
Certainly could be. Yeah.
25 minimum.
Sure.
Well, he should go out tonight and torch him, shouldn't he?
Yeah, you would think. Yeah.
Because he's going to run into a lot better than Zach
absolutely.
Edey come October.
Oh yeah, and that's why I'm not. I mean, that's part of the reason I'm not fully sold on Donovan Clingan.
I don't think we're alone. I think you're right to be that way.
Yeah.
I want to see him go out there tonight and kind of take it to him.
Sure. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, you look at the mock draft since just the start of the NCAA tournament. I mean, he was a considered late lottery guy maybe before the NCAA tournament started. And now we've got. I saw last week, I think it was Jonathan Gavoni from ESPN saying he's got a real argument to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft because of what he's done in March. I don't
would love
buy
to hear
all
that argument.
But I think
Somebody might Jonathan Gavoni may make a great case for it.
He might, and I think part
I'm
of
going
that
into
is,
it dubious.
Yes, I think part of it though is it's kind of a weak draft. Most of the top prospects are not American players. They're foreign guys that we can't watch play. Or I guess we could watch them, but we don't seek out to watch them play. And so, yeah, but you're right. I mean, if he's supposed to be as good as maybe a number 1 pick, a top 5 pick, a top 10 pick, and Zach Edey is, second round is kind of the consensus, I think, right now. Yeah, he should go out and dominate, but I don't know if that's going to be the case.
And Brian, last night and today shows why for a long time, and I don't know when the compact was broken, but it's not held as fast to it anymore. A long time ago, really from about noon on Friday of the Final Four through noon tomorrow, everybody kind of cool off the coaching carousel stuff.
Sure.
And this is why. Because this has captured some of the spotlight, both off of South Carolina's historic win yesterday, and for the game tonight with the move of, and it took a place like somebody leaving Kentucky to do it. You're not leaving Western Kentucky.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, I think more than some. I think it's taken a lot. I mean,
I agree.
I think you see a lot of people are talking about this. Obviously, the big story of, kind of how it went last night, kind of later in the night of, okay, these rumors that you've been seeing most of the days, kind of more than something, and they're in negotiations, they're finalizing.
It was done.
I mean, it was crazy how fast it moved. And so, yeah, you're right. It is taking, I think, a lot of the shine. I do think there are a lot of people that are trying to keep the national championship game above this story, and then tomorrow or the next day let that become the big story. But it's hard when you've got a guy like John Calipari leaving a place like Kentucky and going to Arkansas. I mean, that makes it a massive story.
It is a massive story, and almost John Calipari in a nutshell right here. All the smoke. There's that term.
There you go.
Very little flame with him through the years. The one national championship in 15 years at Kentucky, and they signed up for a lot more than that with him, and he knows that. It has been underwhelming for the trophy case. But this is Calipari to a T. He does something, and the magnetism and the headlines and the tweets and the conversation, it follows. Will winning follow for him at Arkansas? I'm going to ask you this. How hard one right out of the gate, and I want this from Razorback fans, from Tiger fans, Tiger fans that still feel scorned, Tiger fans that still love him, Razorback fans that are ecstatic and should be over a Hall of Fame coach being their new head coach, even though he was the third choice behind Chris Beard and Jerome Tang. I want to hear from them the answer to this question at the Sissy's Log Cabin text line, 901-360-8255. Fill it up all day, and we'll reference it. What is success for John Calipari at Arkansas?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, because I just think there's a lot of ways to look of what this is. I mean, I think Cal's best years are probably behind him.
People questioning the fastball. I do. I've said for years he's not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
More money and with Paul Tudor Jones than he can ever imagine spending. He's got Bradley into the coaching business. Now, that may be one of the motivators because Bradley will be on staff at Arkansas. And here's my answer to my question. What is success for John Calipari at Arkansas? He's got to go past what Eric Musselman did in the tournament.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
Elite Eight.
That's fair. That's fair.
That means the Final Four.
That's right.
And if he just goes to a Final Four in 3, 4, 5 years, he will be beloved and have a lot of stroke and sway with those boosters that he will immediately, naturally ingratiate himself with. And he'll do a great job with that. They'll love him by the 4th of July.
Of course.
Every Monday 4-person scramble, every member guest at every country club this summer across Arkansas, every 4-ball he will be at, people will be knocking themselves down to be around him, with him. He has that appeal. It's undeniable. There's no doubt. But what is it after that? After you get that splish splash from him, where's the ultimate winning? One time at Kentucky and a heartbreaking loss at Memphis in a Final Four at UMass. Other Final Fours at Kentucky I'm aware of, but that's not a place that they play for getting to one. They play for cutting nets down. He did it one time. They signed up for a lot more than that. And if he accomplishes a Final Four or a couple of Final Fours and we get out, 2028, 2029, he could pull what Bruce Pearl's trying to pull at Auburn with Stephen Pearl.
Yeah.
Your next head coach is my son.
Oh, good Lord.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. That's the world we live in, Bryant.
Brett, I had not gotten that far. Wow. That threw me off. I'll be honest.
Takes a lot of winning to get there, though.
It does. But I'm with you. I mean,
what if he's remotivated? The fire gets stoked again.
Sure.
And he needs help on that bench because I think that staff is just a big pile of nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I mean, when you first posed that question, in my mind I was debating between Final Four and Elite Eight. So I think we were on the same page of kind of what that expectation is.
Musk got to two E8s.
Yeah.
Got to a Sweet 16 and upset mighty Kansas
Sure did.
in a de facto road game for Arkansas last year. That was basically might as well have been played at Fog Allen to go in and win that game. Here's another one.
Mm-hmm.
If I set the over and under at 8 over the next 4 years for John Calipari with NCAA tournament wins, would you go over or under? And I didn't just grab that number out of the thin blue sky. That's the number of wins Eric Musselman had in the 21, 22, and 23 tournament, none this year. So just over 4 years. Heck, I'll go the 5. Musselman didn't get any his first year. He went to the NIT. I'll go the next 5 years over under 8 NCAA tournament wins for John Calipari and all that goes with him.
I'll take the over on that just for the only reason of he's going to have the most money. I mean, he's going to have more money than anybody to put together a roster. So you
Has he been broke at Kentucky?
No, but I mean, I think I'm just wishful thinking that if this day and age of NIL is supposed to be what it's supposed to be, and you have that much money, you should be able to put together a team that could win that many games.
But you gotta coach them.
You do.
You gotta draw up makes and stops in late February and in March, and a game plan to stop the one thing you can't let beat you with the Oakland Grizzlies, torch you to smithereens.
That's right. And I think, Brad, another thing that for Cal of what is he going to do at Arkansas, I think it's a fresh restart for him, but I think something else he needs to look at is kind of get with the times. I mean, you are still trying to rely on
self-examination, a little self-scout.
You got to, you rely so much on the try to get the one-and-dones and be that we're going to rely on 18-year-old freshmen. Go out and get guys out of the transfer portal and try to do it that way because he has brought in a couple of transfers here and there, but he's not kind of relied on the transfer portal like a lot of other teams have. And I think if he does that, maybe that changes something. But I do think you got to get away from the bringing in 6 or 7 freshmen and saying, hey, that's our team. We're going to rely on these 3 freshmen to carry us.
Who do you think gets full custody of the Wagners? Cal or somewhere else?
That's a good question.
Boy, give me some love like the Wagners
I was about
have for
to say,
Cal.
as much love as they have, maybe they shouldn't.
Now,
but
0 trophies.
That's right, but
0 shining moments.
I think he might. I think he might go to Arkansas. I don't know.
Brian, it was something today. I keep the list of coaching seniority for the NFL, for Major League Baseball, American League, National League. I keep it for the NBA.
Sure.
I keep it for SEC ADs. I keep it for SEC basketball coaches. It was something else today. Maybe not up there with the Eclipse today, but it was something today.
Close
for
second.
number one in seniority and current job, when I scratched through John Calipari, and that made Bruce Pearl be 1.
Holy cow.
Rick Barnes 2, Buzz Williams 3, and then at the bottom of the list at 13, I write down John Calipari, and beside it, Arkansas, hired April 8th, 2024.
Crazy.
And we're waiting on number 14, and that's Kentucky. And then 15 and 16 is OU and Texas. Hey, boys, the line's at the end.
Lines at the back. I've laughed all day and all last night at the fact that SMU deciding to fire Rob Lanier ultimately set off the dominoes to get John Calipari to the University of Arkansas. That is hilarious to me.
More spectacular than the Eclipse. That Rob Lanier set off that.
10 times. That is incredible.
That SMU heading to the ACC from the AAC fires the guy, did a good job.
Did a fine job.
And it set off all this.
Hilarious. I mean, if you had told me that a month ago, I would have thrown you into somewhere and told you never come out of your cave again because that is crazy. We'll talk a lot about that today. We also got to talk a lot about the national championship game tonight between UConn and Purdue. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Colin Cody from News Channel 3 is part of their sports team. He'll join us to talk a lot of things. Masters, Final Four, Cal to Arkansas. Colin Cody used to cover the Masters down in Augusta, so he knows that place really well. He knows this tournament really well, so we'll talk to him in our next segment. A lot to get to with Colin. 3:45, we'll talk more about Cal heading to Arkansas as it sounds like that deal was being finalized last night. Sounds like a 5-year deal for Cal to Arkansas. So we'll talk about that at the end of this hour. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports. He'll join us, talk some college basketball. Obviously, the big night of college basketball tonight with the NCAA tournament. Cal on the moves, the big story, the transfer portal. A lot to get to with David at 4 o'clock. 4:30, Shelby Mast, our bracketologist from bracketwag.com, will join us, talk more college basketball, preview this game tonight and how these two teams got there. And I think what some could call a pretty chalky March Madness this year. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, we'll get back to that national championship game, talk about Purdue and UConn. We're also going to get to our big four all-time for Purdue and UConn. I'll be honest, Brett, a lot easier to come up with names for UConn. It was kind of hard trying to rank them, trying to limit it down to 4. For Purdue, on the other hand,
very difficult.
I got to maybe like 3, and then I was like,
I almost considered John Wooden from his playing days at Purdue.
Well, Brett, I'll be honest.
207 years ago.
I'll be honest. I was like trying to just think of names. I was going back and looking at different teams and looking at names, and then I just looked up best Purdue basketball players
Johnny
of all
Wooden.
time. And somebody had a list, and like John Wooden was like number 4.
Did you know he played there?
Had no idea. And I was like, there's no way I can put John Wooden. And I tried to like look up his stats. And
it's
like,
impossible.
Like basketball
we had
reference,
a real peach basket.
Yeah,
in those days.
basketball reference didn't have any numbers. I was like, I can't put John Wooden here.
Basketball games, the nickname where they were the Cagers because we had cages up to not throw debris on the court.
Yeah, so that just shows you.
I wasn't that old. I didn't see John Wooden in college.
No, but that's crazy. So it's going to be limited. I'm sure Purdue, we're going to have a lot of similar names. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and then 5:45, wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Head out to Family Leisure. Get factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season will be here before we know it. Buy now and get in line for your pool installation. Get pre-season pricing. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also, special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and outdoor kitchens. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Johnny Hill, we're Sports Time. We're here until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of it. Again, the Sissy's Log Cabin text line, 901-360-8255. You can text there, you can call there, and all our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. This hour every day brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. You can call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the national championship tonight between UConn and Purdue, two of the best teams all season long. Coming into the season, everyone knew that these two teams were going to be really, really good. I think some people had questions about UConn, what they lost, but what they were bringing back looked really good after winning the national championship last year. We know they've got a great coach in Dan Hurley, but then on the other side for Purdue, bringing back Zach Edey. We remember the spectacle last offseason of when Zach Edey announced he was coming back, and Purdue said, okay, well, after that really bad first-round exit last year against Fairleigh Dickinson, we're getting this guy back, and maybe we can have higher expectations. But kind of then again, people didn't want to trust him because you're just coming off that first-round loss to Fairleigh Dickinson, a team that nobody knew even existed before they took down Purdue in that game. But both of them really added some really nice pieces this offseason through the transfer portal or through just regular recruiting, bringing in freshmen, and both have been really dominant all season long. We know the two dominant big men, Donovan Clingan, Zach Edey on both sides. That will be the biggest story tonight while you're watching the game, of those two giants going after each other. But you look at the guard play for both these teams, and it's pretty good. And I think this is going to be a really, really good game. I've seen that number kind of moving around 6.5, 7 in favor of UConn. UConn is not has not failed to cover a spread the last 2 postseasons. So last year in their run to the national championship, and I'm not saying they haven't lost a game, they've covered every single game. We've seen those numbers. They're big spreads. They've been finding ways to do it. It's been really, really fun to watch. And then on the other side, Purdue looking to pull a Virginia after Virginia lost in the first round to UMBC. Then the next year they go all the way and win the national championship. Can we see that done twice? I guess we'll find out in, I want to say, a couple hours, but 8:30, 8:45 tip-off tonight for that national championship game. It's going to be a late one.
Yeah, that's a challenge even for me. But I'll make it. My top story, it's John Calipari. After 15 years at Kentucky with one national championship, that's the same as Joe P. Hall and Tubby Smith won at Kentucky. He's now at Arkansas, where in the last 4 years, Eric Musselman won 8 NCAA tournament games, while John Calipari was winning 1 NCAA tournament game at Kentucky in that time. In fact, in 5 years, he's won 1. He went 9-16 in 2021 at Kentucky. Do people really remember that?
I don't think so, Brett.
He's the new coach of the Razorbacks, and I can't wait until he's calling the Hogs with his red blazer on at the press conference tomorrow or Wednesday, because I remember when he was at Memphis talking about Arkansas and Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Tennessee, like those fans didn't even have indoor plumbing, like they were something on the bottom of his shoe. Will he play the Tigers? He used to advocate for that. They played his first few years when he was at Memphis, then they quit. So now we'll see. He's moved the jive from Lexington to Fayetteville. Will it work at 65 years old?
Not top story of the day.
Well, that's my not top story of the day. Cal going to Arkansas. It's been reported that it's going to be a 5-year deal, somewhere between $7.5 and $8 million. We know what he's done at Kentucky, the highs, the lows, but now going to Arkansas, and it sounds like he's going to have one of the best NIL packages of any school in the country. We know the Tyson family. Sounds like they've really stepped up to the table. He has a relationship with that family and is good friends with them, so they certainly stepping up to the table. I'm sure Walmart will follow those big boosters that they have out in Arkansas, and he'll have plenty of money to put together these teams.
It's a donor list. Only Texas and Texas A&M
Absolutely.
can
It's incredible, and so that will certainly help, especially if he can get them bought in. I'm sure Cal will be able to do that. And so now what happens with Kentucky? It's wild, Brett. Even before any of this stuff happened, we were saying that we thought this was going to be an eventful offseason in terms of coaching moves, in terms of things. We thought there was going to be a lot of chaos, a lot of dominoes that fell. And I remember seeing that SMU move and going, well, that's weird. Rob Lanier being fired?
Rob Lanier.
That doesn't make sense to me. But then now you have all of these dominoes that have ended up getting John Calipari to Arkansas. It's incredible. Now what will Kentucky do? I've heard Dan Hurley. You got to go and make Dan Hurley say no. I'll believe that when I see it. Honestly, I've heard Jay Wright. I don't know if I think Jay Wright even wants to get back into coaching, but his name's always thrown out. Nate Oates, Scott Drew, Billy Donovan from the NBA ranks.
Scott Drew? You mean he's good enough for Kentucky but wasn't for Memphis?
Well, Brett, I'm just the messenger, I guess. Bruce Pearl. So, there's going to be a lot of big names. They're certainly going to want to swing for the fences, but I think a win-win for everybody. For Arkansas, they get the big name of John Calipari and get that excitement and all eyes on you. And for Kentucky, I think a lot of people in Kentucky were ready to move on. I think a lot of people inside Kentucky's athletic department wanted to move on, but you had that big buyout. You couldn't really do anything, but now you get to avoid that. So I think a big win-win for everybody.
My not top story? Oh, yeah. One shining moment.
That's right.
The two best teams will be meeting tonight. If we replayed this tournament 100 times, I think it'll wallow out UConn and Purdue in the finals a lot of times. UConn in rare air, super team, dynasty, all those things thrown around, and no doubt win tonight. If anybody's still denying them, they're in the club. They're in the nuclear club. They're in the blue blood club. They can't be denied. And for Purdue, basketball country, Wooden's alma mater, land of hoops, the land of Hoosiers the movie. First time would be fun. Good stories abound tonight.
Yeah, a lot of really good stories tonight for this title game. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we're talking a lot. We're talking the Masters. We're talking the Final Four. And we're going to talk Cal to Arkansas. Colin Cody, he joins us next.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
You've been having a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch. Soon you'll be having a good time at a brand new Mugshots. Mugshots Grill and Bar is opening their first Tennessee location at 656 West Poplar in Collierville, where you can try one of Mugshots' 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes and it's free, plus you get a free t-shirt. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. Five Ash Roofing, the name to know. Five Ash Roofing, the only way to go. Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Five Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet piquilla peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes, or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. We can't wait to serve you.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis. This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's already starting to pick up with more volume on 240 East up by Poplar, just like it has the last couple of weeks, especially this time of the afternoon as it increases in more volume. As we check it out over here on 40 East up by, let's say, Hollywood, all the way over to White Station. Traffic still looks good to the south of Memphis with that traffic flow on 55 down through South Haven. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now on the Sissy's Log Cabin phone line, Colin Cody from News Channel 3, part of their sports team. He joins us now to talk about a handful of things from over the weekend. But Colin, let's start out. You have covered the Masters a handful of times in the past. It's Masters Week. A lot of talk about that tournament going into this week, and then throughout this week, a lot of people will be talking about it. But what was your favorite part or favorite thing about covering the Masters?
First off, Brian Stats, thank y'all for having me on. It's my favorite week of the year. It's the worst work week of the year because it's getting nice outside. Obviously, everybody wants to talk about the Masters, and man, honestly, Brian, I forgot your question because I'm sitting outside now, and I'm just so on awe because it's actually springtime here again. But
I think I know. Brian asked what was the best part of covering it, and I'm going to take a stab at it, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. The nicest media room area event to cover and how they cater to you to cover it.
You hit it right there. Like, I love what we have here in Memphis, every August when we have the FedEx.
Got a great tournament.
But don't get me wrong. It's a great thing. But when I say, I'm so spoiled, it doesn't matter what I'm covering. It could be what we had March Madness at the Forum just 3 weeks ago. It could be any football game that I've ever been to, the media room or lounge or whatever. I've never had an experience like that where you're catered to as a member of the media, whether you have everything on hand, you can make a suggestion and hey, can we get a pronunciation sheet? And in 10 minutes they'll have one printed up for everyone in the entire facility. It's first class, second to none. I mean, it's like the course itself. You're always in awe, and it's just I don't know. It's what a lot of people consider heaven on earth, and I understand why. You can't ask for anything better because they today, for example. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but they had eclipse glasses with Masters logos on them for all the patrons there. They just think about everything forthcoming like that. You don't have to. They do it the right way. It's like if the Masters and Chick-fil-A were in the presidency, I think we'd be all good. We wouldn't have anything to worry about.
I'm with you. If you had every sports event, and I know immediately when I say this, I always get the blowback. Yeah, it's 1 week a year, but I say if you had every sporting event operated like this, and to my comeback to that 1 week a year, it's really not 1 week now with the event last week with the women's tournament, with the drive, chip, and putt. You're really talking about dealing with the patrons, with the fans, with the public. You're talking about dealing with them about 12 days now. Well, most NFL teams, even now in the 17-game schedule, the most they play at home is 8 or 9. College plays 6 or 7. College basketball, 15 to 16. You're not talking about that many more dates for most other things in baseball and NBA, yes, and hockey, yes. But everything else, it can be done. But their commitment to having the perfect event, to having built the perfect mousetrap, I think the rest of sports could adopt.
And I'll take it a step further. When you mentioned baseball, even if you're in the playoffs and you're in a series, you're playing 2 days on one field and you're switching to another. So, like you just mentioned, it's 14 days. We'll give or take with drive, trip, and putt. You got, we'll say, 13, 12 days of this course just getting beat up from some of the best hitters, some of the best club strikers in the world, from the women's side, the amateur women's side, to obviously the men that have been doing it for decades. So, I mean, it doesn't get a break. And then you're dealing with different types of conditions with the weather. It's hot one day, then, the next morning it's raining, then you got thunderstorm coming in. So it's really just incredible how they kind of maintain and manage and kind of just work with what they have there. I mean, it's just, I don't even know how to really put into words. Like, I've covered the tournament for 4 years, and, that's going every day, basically. So, like you said, 14 days for 4 years. Every day was kind of just perfect. It's like if God himself just was like, hey, everything else is going to go around, but we're still going to have this tournament happen like it was planned to be.
He just thought he was God, Clifford Roberts, when he envisioned all this golly, way back when.
Yeah, so I'm actually headed up this Friday, so I'll be taking it in from a patron standpoint this time. So I'm super excited for that.
No running.
Yes.
No running. I learned my lesson. I learned a long time ago. My first experience, we're under the tree of the clubhouse, and we're getting player interviews, and I just hear Tiger, Tiger, Tiger in the background, and all of a sudden I turn my head, and I tell this story all the time. People don't believe me, but I've never smelled somebody that smelled so rich in my life. Like the wind hit Tiger Woods downwind and right in my face, and obviously my first time. I'm a novice on this course, and I kind of scoot and I'm kind of rushing. Then I have a security guard. Hey, just slow down. Like he's gonna be here all week, so like don't freak out too much. So that was my reckoning with the no running at Augusta National.
That's great. Well, the Masters is kind of one of those that has now kind of turned into, obviously it's probably the best golf tournament, but it's also now kind of gotten weird because of the Live and PGA, and you get them both back together this weekend for the Masters. Who are some of the golfers you're going to be keeping an eye on that maybe can contend, or just that you're excited to watch from either, I guess, PGA or Live now?
Yeah, I think this is like it's become. This is like the second year that this has happened. It's like a family reunion. You don't always like your family, but they all, they're still probably going to show up to the reunion whenever you guys have the cookout, the barbecue. So I'm excited to see, John Rahm back on the course. Obviously, with him making that switch, now he's full-time Live. I'm looking forward to see Scotty. Obviously, who doesn't want to see Tiger, whether or not he's in contention, just to, relive those experiences on 16. And like I said, it's like a family reunion when everybody comes back together, no matter how you feel about each other, just the experience that everybody's in the same place together. You just got to take that with some type of joy, because you don't know who will be there next year, right? Like Larry Mize, I'm not sure if he's going to be there this year, but he's competed in like 40 different Masters tournaments. So like just to see those generational golfers, Larry, Tiger, and like a JT all together, that's always special to see. For me personally, since I'm going this year, I don't really have my preference is the winner. I already won, so I won this year's Masters since I'm going to enjoy it as a patron. So, but I'm excited, and I think it's a crapshoot. I think that it's the potential that it could be just an outright Live player to win it this year, because I feel like that they know that they don't necessarily have the same type of eyes that they did on the PGA Tour, and they're hungry. They're ready to give respect for that tour and claim their stake in this game, and that they made a decision they're going to stand on that. So like just like last year, maybe we get a Brooks, maybe Rahm repeats, or maybe Scotty just keeps that putter hot and just stays dialed in. But I think it's just going to be a great week for golf in general.
If you had to get to the course and park it at one hole, and that's all the shots you could watch with however many days you're going to be there, what's the hole? What's the location you'd like to get to?
See, Stats, you're a smart man. You ask all the right questions. So I've done this by experience, because you can go from if you post up left side of 16, you can kind of see 16T. The green at 15, then you can kind of look through the trees and look back at, I think that is 13 or might be 13T. So, like, if you're in that parameter, you can kind of bounce around. Then you also have to think about the concession stands, because they're building, they're constantly building around the course, but the concession stands are kind of hidden in the back. So if you're standing in that spot, I believe it is, what's that, where at Amen Corner, I think that might be 12. You're not too far from 12 once you get all down there. So there's a concession spot there with the
great spot,
so,
right behind 12.
Great spot.
Yeah.
Great spot. So it's all about convenience. Pop that chair down and enjoy it. And, get you some ice cream, some peach ice cream, which I'm super excited to get this week.
You're an old pro, Colin. This is great. Love having you with us from News Channel 3. Colin Cody, you see him as the weekend anchor. You see him as reporter with Mike Sadie and Jeff Woods and that great team, and love what you and Shay Arthur and what y'all are doing on the weekend there. Y'all are my go-to news every weekend, Colin. One quick thing before we go. We know it was mostly Masters. Were you stunned when it rocked the college basketball world last night of John Calipari leaving Kentucky for the Razorbacks?
Yeah, I think I was pretty stunned. I mean, but honestly, like with Calipari and that Kentucky fan base, they were unhappy. He could feel that pressure. You sign this contract. You have to leave at some point. I mean, so I think it's the smartest move on the table for him. Obviously, he's always going to have a pocket or two full of some friends that he could call. Good thing I didn't know the chicken business is that prevalent where you can just run the whole basketball scene like that. Where Tyson got some good friends over there, but yeah, I was really shocked at that. But I think, like I heard what you said earlier in the show in the program, that he has to surpass Musselman. I think that's the only thing that you really can do when you've done so much and so little at the same time. So I think it's going to be interesting because we have such a huge contingency of Arkansas fans here in the Mid-South. I want to know how they feel about having Cal back, as their leader. And I don't know. I've spoken to a few Tiger fans today, and some were like, "Man, I wish he would come back here." But I feel like that they are mostly in the minority on that aspect. I think Memphis is happy to kind of wipe their hands away from them. But let's see if it will be interesting to see if they can spark that Arkansas-Memphis game once again. Because if Cal has to come back to Memphis, let's lace them up and see and pack out the Forum or do it in Fayetteville. I think that would be a great series, bringing back and forth between two great schools.
I want Forum and Bud Walton Arena. I don't want any neutral stuff in North Little Rock or Nashville. Bud Walton Arena, downtown Memphis is what I want.
Yep,
that's what I want too.
Yeah, well, hopefully maybe we could get some smoke to that fire after he takes over at Arkansas. But Colin, it's always so much fun having you on. Let's do this again soon.
Absolutely, Brian. Stats. Thank y'all so much. Have a great match this week, and I look forward to talking to y'all soon.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you, Colin. Very kind. Very kind. Colin Cody with News Channel 3, and he's got a great perspective. And when I first met him last year and talking about where he was coming from this market, knew his father, great Tiger football player, and his knowledge of golf. And if you're in the news business in Augusta, that's the Super Bowl.
That's right. I mean,
every year in that little bitty town, they have a Super Bowl.
Absolutely. You got to be ready for it if you're going to cover sports out there. And he does a great job. I'm glad he's going to be able to get out there as a patron this year and just be able to take it all in and not have to take it all in while working. That would be fun. But let's go ahead and get to a break. The big news out of college basketball: Cal sounds like he's going to take over as the Arkansas head coach, as that deal was being finalized last night. So let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Cal to Arkansas. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. Add in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseballs.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's time to replace. And right now you can get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. Plus, with our spring savings event, you can buy one window or door and get one 40% off when you buy 4 or more units. Just text FRONT to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no monthly payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text FRONT to 200-300 to buy one window or door and get one 40% off. And right now, save an extra $30 off every unit. Hurry, this incredible offer is only in April. Text FRONT to 200-300. Text the word FRONT to 200-300. FRONT to 200-300.
Is your home screaming for an upgrade? Listen closely because Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is about to make your day. First up, say goodbye to cold showers and hello to endless hot water with our tankless water heater upgrade. Not only does it save space and energy, but it also keeps the hot water flowing exactly when you need it. And here's the kicker. Switch from your old tank to a sleek, efficient tankless water heater now, and Choate's will hand you a $500 credit. Yep, you heard that right. $500 back in your pocket. But wait, there's more. Clogged drains are a hassle no homeowner wants to deal with. With Choate's special offer, get your drains cleared for just $93 or it's absolutely free. That's our guarantee to make it drain or you don't pay a dime. So why wait? Call Choate's today at 347-8086 or visit us online at choateshvac.com. And remember, Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in to Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. Talked a little bit about Cal going to Arkansas earlier in the show, but the biggest story in college basketball right now, and Brett, I kind of mentioned it during my not top story of the day, but where do you think Kentucky goes in terms of looking for a replacement for Cal?
Brian, I can't. I don't know if I got the perfect name. You know what I'll be forced to do Thursday is have to ask Keith Smith that Brad Stevens.
Of course,
oh man,
every time.
And he's going to wrap me right across the chops, and he should, because he always says undeniably he's not returning. But who's Mr. Perfect? I don't know. But this is a good example of a lot of schools, a lot of places. Naturally, at a coaching search time, they think we can get anybody we want.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would put Kentucky up there at the top of that. They can get anybody they want.
Absolutely.
We'll see. We will see. I would say when they got John Calipari, they got who they wanted. With Billy Gillespie, they got who they wanted, but I don't think the canvassing was done very well. With Tubby, it kind of seemed natural. And with Rick Pitino, they got who they wanted. Back to Eddie Sutton. Maybe Coach Bartow was in that mix. Coach Dana Kirk was in that mix. Lute Olson was in that mix. But I think they got who they wanted. And unfortunately, sadly for Coach Sutton, personal demons kind of derailed a good shot for him at Kentucky. We will see who they hire, and we'll see how fast, because we know May 1's a big date for everybody in college basketball, and that has changed things. But Hunter Yurachek, in the end, he nailed that, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
You get John Calipari from Kentucky, you've nailed a coaching search.
Absolutely. No, I mean,
got a little untidy, got a little messy.
Yes, I mean, it was not as, streamlined.
Swung and missed twice.
Sure. But, yeah, when you can end up after, 2 or 3 names popping up as they're targeting on this guy, they're targeting on this guy, they're targeting on this guy, and then to end up with John Calipari, it doesn't get much better than that.
When is the next scheduled eclipse? Do y'all know?
Here?
That we will live through like we did 2 hours ago?
Well, the next one in America is like 2044, I think.
2044. I think so. I'm going to say we have the eclipse in 2044 before we have what has just occurred in college football and in college basketball. Within 3 months, Alabama football opened and Kentucky basketball opened.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point.
And neither one of those were really passive figures. That was Nick Saban and John Calipari.
That's right.
7 national championships between them.
That's crazy.
Coach Saban with 6, Calipari with the 1 trophy. Keep shining it.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible just how it's kind of played out. And at both those marquee programs.
Bama and Kentucky.
It's crazy. So, we'll see. I think you're right. I think Kentucky moves, tries to move fast. I think you have to move fast in this day and age of college athletics. And I guess we'll see where they go, but they're certainly going to be swinging for the fences.
For Jay Wright, the basketball world he left and entered the TV business in, if he were to return, it's vastly different.
So different.
It could not be more different. For Billy Donovan, way back when, he was a little nonplussed by everything going on in the sport. Then, remember, he quit Florida twice.
That's right.
Ultimately to go to the NBA and stay, but quit them once for a day and a half to be the Orlando Magic coach.
That's right. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, you're going to hear those names. You're going to hear Jay Wright and Billy Donovan and, Dan Hurley. But, I think it's going to be interesting. From what I've heard, and obviously still very early, it sounds like people who know Jay Wright very, very well think that there's no shot he gets back into coaching. But
Mike DeCourcy at the Sporting News today wrote one of the great columns on it, and you got to give that Hall of Famer, that good man, that great, credible journalist. Last night, when so many people were taking credit for having that story first, he gave the proper credit to the Little Rock media figure, Wes Moore.
Yeah.
Way to go, Mike DeCourcy.
Absolutely. So it was an interesting night last night in college basketball. Well, we need to get to a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a lot more college basketball. Cal going to Arkansas, national championship game tonight, all of that and much, much more on the other side with David Cobb.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
Everyone's getting excited about March Crazy.
Don't you mean madness?
No, crazy. You know, the Crazy Coupe.
The Crazy what?
The Crazy Coupe. $71.99 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. Not only do they have the best chicken wings in Memphis, they've got 32 crazy flavors to choose from.
I like to eat.
The Coupe has you covered. 1 juicy Big Burger, 2 crispy chicken tenders, fries or okra, and a drink for $19.99. Want more? How about a Crazy Coupe's Ultimate Family Feast? 4 burgers, 8 crispy chicken tenders, choice of fries or okra, and 4 drinks for less than $70.
Now that's a crazy good price.
I think the wings are so good at the Crazy Coupe, they'll change the games to March Crazy.
That's crazy enough. It just may work. The Crazy Coupe, $71.99 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. Family owned and operated. The Crazy Coupe. You'd be crazy not to visit the Coupe.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Mentor Memphis Grizzlies is back hosting its 3rd annual Mentoring Matters Summit of Tennessee, April 25th through the 27th. This hybrid summit has 2 days of virtual sessions with a free day for youth and their mentors at Tom Lee Park. Register today by visiting grizzliesfoundation.org/TN Summit.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We're still trying to sort out a couple of earlier crashes that we had out here. They seem to be minor, but traffic's building already over here on 240 East, passing Mount Moriah here at 385 going outbound, back out to Collierville. That looks good. Now it's sluggish already on 240 East up by Poplar. Traffic still looks good to the north on 51 headed up into Millington. Weimer's Jewelry, they're located at 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is National College football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us from CBS Sports, talk a lot of college basketball. He joins us now on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. David, thanks so much for joining us. A lot going on in the world today. We had a solar eclipse. We've got the national championship game tonight. And then Arkansas comes out of nowhere last night and says, we'll go out and hire John Calipari from Kentucky and just make him our new head basketball coach. What did you make of that whole story? Brett and I were talking earlier about how fast that moved last night. kind of seemed early in the afternoon, earlier in the day, there were kind of these just very light rumors of like maybe something was happening. And then last night it was, hey, they're in talks. Before you knew it, they were finalizing a deal, it seemed like. What did you make of the news last night of Cal's departure from Kentucky to end up at Arkansas?
Yeah, a sitting Kentucky basketball coach being poached by another SEC school, that feels more rare than a solar eclipse.
It does.
And it was shocking because after Cal survived about that first week following the Oakland loss, it sort of seemed like he was moving forward, that he was going to be the coach for the 24-25 season. Maybe if some other opportunity came along, he would look at it, but I didn't know that the Arkansas job would be the one to get his attention like it did. And obviously, it's been revealed over the last 24 hours how deep of a tie he has there with the Tyson family and how influential they have been in making this happen. So, yeah, it's a stunner, and the dominoes are going to keep falling because depending on who Kentucky hires to replace John Calipari, this could really just be the beginning of a wild coaching carousel.
David, in that friendship financial aspect of it highlights again that if and when Arkansas gets their NIL, the financial house, in order, and I think Hunter Yurchek will, when they decide, when they commit, they have a donor list, active donor list that loves it, that's rabid about it, that only Texas and Texas A&M can top.
Yeah, that's incredible when you think about the Tysons, the Waltons. You got some trucking company family money out there, too. I mean, Arkansas is sneaky loaded, and it's in a state where they are the only power conference university.
They're the pro team.
Exactly. There's not a professional sports team, so Arkansas is the show. And sometimes that gets forgotten. I think that's one of the more underrated fan bases in college sports. Because if you've ever seen the Hogs get called in Bud Walton Arena or at the SEC tournament, it's kind of shocking because you don't necessarily equate Arkansas and their passion and their backing for basketball with being among the top 10 or 15 in the country, but it's there. I mean, Eric Musselman showed the dormant potential that was lying within Arkansas basketball, and by hiring John Calipari, I'm not convinced that they hired the best coach they could have hired, but they made the biggest splash they could have possibly made. And so the excitement level that you had there during the Eric Musselman era, that's going to continue. That's going to remain, even if John Calipari has some questions to answer about his ability to win games in March.
John Calipari will become the fifth SEC coach since 1989 to coach a different SEC team in consecutive seasons. Don DeVoe in 89 with Tennessee and Florida, Eddie Fogler, the Vandy, South Carolina move, Tubby Smith, Georgia to Kentucky, and Mike White from Florida to Georgia. I asked this rhetorically earlier. I'll ask you, well, no, I wanted answers. It wasn't just rhetoric. I wanted answers. What is success for John Calipari at Arkansas?
He's got big shoes to fill. I know that the ending wasn't great for Eric Musselman there. This past season was a disappointment for Arkansas. But Musselman made a couple of Elite Eights and a Sweet 16. I mean, he took Arkansas deeper than it's ever, than it had gone in the NCAA tournament since Nolan Richardson's tenure there. So those are massive shoes to fill. And the thing that John Calipari is best known for is talent acquisition. Well, Eric Musselman was doing an amazing job of talent acquisition at Arkansas as well. And so it's not as if he can come in, John Calipari can come in and instantly differentiate himself from his predecessor with, oh, wow, we got a five-star guy. Who cares? Arkansas just had Nick Smith and Moses Moody in the not-too-distant past. They had the highest-rated class in school history. They've killed it in the transfer portal as of late. So I think, honestly, if you're Arkansas and you want to look back at this hire and view it as a success, you either got to win some SEC tournament regular season titles or you got to make it back to the Elite Eight, which is what the predecessor did. So not sure what we're seeing in John Calipari as of late that makes us think he can reach the Elite Eight when he couldn't even reach the second weekend of the NCAA tournament at Kentucky. But I'm not sure that the results are going to match the initial buzz. the initial buzz is through the roof, but pretty soon the rubber is going to hit the road, and the frustrations that Kentucky fans had with John Calipari could very well become the same frustrations that Arkansas fans have in under a year from now.
Yeah. You talk about kind of the expectations and things like that. I saw a lot of people talking last night and this morning about kind of the way John Calipari has put together teams, and it's kind of been a knock on him these last couple of seasons with what the transfer portal has turned into, that he's still super reliant on the true freshmen, these 18-year-old kids to come in and kind of be his go-to players. And I remember, last year talking to you about, this class he was bringing in and how reliant he was going to be on these freshman players. Do you think kind of this reset at Arkansas, these kind of big figures that are being reported of what he'll have for NIL, do you think that will help him to change how he goes things and maybe rely more on the transfer portal than going and trying to get these one-and-done players?
Yeah, he'll have no choice this year but to load up on transfers for that first Arkansas roster, because even if he brings this entire Kentucky recruiting class with him, which Memphis fans remember how that goes, right? I mean, John Calipari, when he leaves a job, he can get the prospects to follow him to his new place. So let's just assume that he gets 5 or 6 freshmen in there at Arkansas. I mean, the rest of that roster either isn't worth keeping or is already gone. So you're probably going to have 5 or 6 more slots to fill. And so he will fill those with transfers because he'll have no choice. But then when it gets into year 2 and year 3, that's where we figure out whether or not he's really learned the lesson. If you go back over the last several years at Kentucky, he did actually have a few rosters that were a bit more veteran-oriented. I mean, you go back to when Oscar Tshiebwe was the National Player of the Year. That was a team that wasn't totally reliant on freshmen. There were some freshmen among them, but not nearly to the degree that they had this past season. So it's got to be a mix. And, we talk about John Calipari, and he's maybe lost his fastball, and he's got to adjust in this era. But if you take out the dismal results of March, which is hard to do, but if you're willing to do that just for a second, you can still see the imprint of a successful program runner there. I mean, his last 5 or 6 teams at Kentucky, there wasn't any NCAA tournament success to write home about, but those were teams that were in the upper half of the SEC, teams that got good seeds for the NCAA tournament, and ultimately they flopped in March. And, that's the difference between John Calipari and Eric Musselman. Eric Musselman had some really average teams that really peaked in March, and John Calipari's had some above-average teams that have flopped in March. And so what's the right roster recipe to win in March? You got to have more veterans than Kentucky had this past year. I mean, that's for sure. So I think this first roster at Arkansas will, just by necessity, and then where he goes from there will sort of be the indicator of what he's learned over the last 5 or 6 years.
But still shocking to look at that 2021 season and John Calipari going 9-16 at Kentucky. I think the 4 of us, anybody can go 9-16 at Kentucky. I don't know how you can dip down and be that poor at Kentucky. David Cobb with us, all our guests join us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. And David, who's got the better job, Eric Musselman or John Calipari, USC or Arkansas?
Oh, John Calipari. I mean, Arkansas. If you're ranking college basketball jobs, you're ranking Arkansas ahead of USC. Of course, sometimes beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. Some people would say that Southern California is a far more desirable place to live than Northwest Arkansas. I'm not saying that, but some people would. Some people would say the pressure that you're under at Arkansas makes it less desirable than what you deal with at USC,
Great
where
point.
You're not even the biggest show on your own campus, and you're about the 15th biggest show in your city. Some people would view that as a better situation. So I think for Eric Musselman, with all of his Southern California connections, he maybe viewed that as a better job. But I think if you ask me to go and rank college basketball jobs today, I'm ranking Arkansas quite a ways ahead of USC.
I'm with you. I think it's a top 12 to 15 job. And this morning I dipped in real early to listen to our friend Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and the voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, on their show in Northwest Arkansas. And Chuck Barrett made the point that you really just made. And the point is this: as odd as this sounds, Eric Musselman can get lost in Los Angeles and in the USC community easier than he could in Fayetteville, and he didn't handle that very well. John Calipari is used to being squeezed to death by Big Blue Nation. It won't bother him at all to be in Fayetteville, and every restaurant he goes in, he'll get a standing ovation.
Yeah, exactly. It's still weird to imagine John Calipari calling the Hogs and wearing red. I'm not sure I'll be able to fully process that until I see it with my own eyes. But that is no different.
I may go full Linda Blair when I see it.
And he's used to it because the way he's been in Lexington for the last 15 years. And you think about it, I mean, I know the Grizzlies had arrived by the time he was in Memphis, but he was kind of the king of Memphis too. So it's this is not unfamiliar for him, and it's a fresh start, and maybe it motivates him. Maybe the fact that things soured the way they did at Kentucky, and maybe the fact that fans wanted him out, maybe this is the kick in the rear that he needs to finish his career with a bang, because he'd been going out with a whimper, and now he's got some motivation and some reason to write a different ending to his career.
Well, now that this is happening, it'll certainly be more when it's officially announced by Arkansas. But now the question is, what does Kentucky do to replace Cal as their head coach? If you had to come up with a short list of guys that Kentucky you think will go after or should go after, who would that list be?
Yeah, I mean, my Grand Slam tier is Billy Donovan, Brad Stevens, and Jay Wright. Okay, they all said no. Now I'm calling Scott Drew. Now I'm calling Nate Oates. If they stay put, then it gets a little dicier, but I think you can reach out to Bruce Pearl, who still has some tread left on the tires and might want that last job where maybe he could win a national title. So I think, there's 6 names right there. Not sure how practical any of those are, but you at least got to try, because this is Kentucky. This is one of the best jobs in college basketball. You could argue it's the best job in college basketball. So swing for the fences here. The fact is Kentucky was given a gift by Arkansas hiring John Calipari, because they got rid of a coach they didn't really want anymore, and they didn't have to pay the $33 million buyout that they would have had to pay if they fired him. So you more or less saved $33 million here that you can put towards going out to get that big-name coach now.
What about Todd Golden? I know he just signed a new deal at Florida, but that doesn't really matter when somebody wants you.
Yeah, exactly. All these fan bases that think they're sitting secure with their coach
means
because
nothing.
they just signed an extension. No, you're not, because Kentucky's got a war chest, and they could come and get that coach. Todd Golden, I'd love to see more. I'd love to see more, because those fans are going to pull up his Wikipedia and they're going to see a coach with promise, but one who's not made deep NCAA tournament runs. And I think this is a situation that calls for a coach with a fairly recent track record of deep NCAA tournament runs, or obviously, in the case of a Billy Donovan, a historic, long ago track record of long NCAA tournament runs. So Todd Golden is a rising star, but I think Florida is going to get to keep him for a little bit longer, just because he hasn't necessarily proven it in March yet.
Yeah. Talking to David Cobb, he joins us every single week from CBS Sports. I want to get to the national championship game, of course, going on later tonight. But here locally, Penny Hardaway has been making news. PJ Haggerty and Dane Danger both committed to the Tigers over the last week. But also in that same token, Ashton Hardaway, his son, enters the transfer portal Friday afternoon. You tweeted after Dane Danger committed to the Tigers and said, now the question is whether Memphis will actually tailor its playing style to fit Danger's strengths. If not, it's the Jordan Brown situation all over again. What do you see with this situation? Obviously, you working at the national level have a much better insight on Dane Danger than a lot of us here just kind of learning about him or kind of looking more into him now that he is committed to the Tigers. What do you see with Dane Danger, and how do you think Penny Hardaway needs to adjust his style to fit this guy?
Yeah, so first off, when we're talking about Dane Danger, I want you to get a picture in your mind here of somebody that is built a little bit more like DJ Burns from NC State than, let's say, Naquan Tomlin.
Sure.
All right? So now that you got that picture in your mind, think about why Dane Danger's minutes tapered off at Illinois this past season. It's because Brad Underwood and Illinois went up-tempo. They went 5 out, and there is not really a place in the rotation for a guy who's built closer to DJ Burns Jr. than Naquan Tomlin. And so you come to Memphis, Penny Hardaway likes to play fast. Mm-hmm. You look at the systems he's employed with the centers that he's had at Memphis. You got Tomlin, who was great down the stretch for Memphis this past season. They played DeAndre Williams at the 5, more of a lanky, face-up type of guy. Mm-hmm. Even going back to Precious Achua and Jalen Durant, they were athletic, agile, mobile bigs. They were lob threats. They were face-up type of centers. Dane Danger is a back-to-the-basket type of center. So we saw with Jordan Brown a year ago how it didn't work out, and there may have been myriad of factors or reasons there. But Jordan Brown came to Memphis from a system where he was the focal point of the offense. They played through the post. They gave him touches on the block every time down the floor, and he thrived in that system. Well, then he came to Memphis, and they don't play that way, and it didn't work out. So now you got Dane Danger, who is coming from a system where he got squeezed out because they went fast, because they played kind of like Memphis. And now he's coming to Memphis as a highly touted center, somebody who, if you play through him, he could be an all-AAC type of performer. So is Memphis going to adapt what it does to cater to the way Dane Danger plays? If not, I think they're not going to quite get the return on the investment that you would hope for there, because Dane Danger, with the schools that were after him and the caliber of player that he is, they're having to pay him. And if you're just wanting to go out and get somebody who can set screens and grab rebounds for you, you can go shopping on the budget aisle in the transfer portal and find that. Dane Danger is not a budget-friendly addition with your NIL budget there. So, anyway, I'm just curious. He's a great pickup. I think Memphis fans should be really excited about him. He's talented. He's super efficient from the floor. He does have a high motor, even though he's a really, really big dude. I'm just curious to see how it worked out. And I hope Dane Danger sort of understands the way that Penny Hardaway has used bigs during his tenure, because on the surface, the way that he plays and the way that Memphis plays, it just doesn't seem like a perfect fit. And so, yeah, it's just curiosity to see how it works out. But I think they're off to a great start in this portal.
David, 4 weeks ago tonight, after his coaching show, Coach Penny Hardaway proclaimed that, and when asked what kind of job he thought he had been done at Memphis, he said he thought he had done a great job. That was 4 weeks ago tonight. That feels like forever ago, doesn't it? But it was 4 weeks. And in that time, all this coaching carousel that has spun around, and there hadn't been one hint of him going anywhere else. That is not a great job.
Yeah, well, I mean, Penny Hardaway is as Memphis as they get. But yes, if he had accomplished the things that he set out to accomplish at the beginning, his name would be mentioned in a coaching carousel like this. Ultimately, I mean, this is a coach who's won one NCAA tournament game in 6 years. And the fact that some Memphis fans think that makes him above question, or that it's ridiculous to ask tough questions about Memphis basketball is absurd. I mean, the level of performance of the program versus what was promised on the front end is hilarious and lacking. Now, at the end of the day, he's still won 20 games every single year. He's still had an above 500 record in conference play every single year. They've been close to the NCAA tournament every single year, even when they haven't made it. So the bottom hasn't fallen out, and that's why I'll give him a C-plus level grade for the job that he's done. But to say that he's done a phenomenal job or an unbelievable job at a program like Memphis that has the history and the potential that it has, it's just not true. He's done a serviceable job, but he has not done a great job. I don't think you can even question that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're still a handful of hours away from the big game tonight. The late tip, I know a lot of people a little frustrated with, but we do this every single year. What do you expect to see tonight against Purdue and UConn, and who do you think ultimately wins?
Yeah, I mean, it's the two best teams in the sport all year long, really. Houston was part of that conversation. So it's just funny how the NCAA tournament gives us all these twists and turns and upsets and unexpected results, and then as mad as March can be, it wasn't mad enough to get rid of Purdue or UConn. So here they are at the end, and I see UConn winning fairly dominant fashion. I mean, the spread is up to 7 at most places right now, and I think UConn covers that. So The difference for me, obviously, you got the Zach Edey versus Donovan Clingan battle, but the difference to me is in the backcourt where UConn has Tristan Newton, Cam Spencer, and Stephon Castle, and Purdue counters with Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Lance Jones. I mean, both in terms of size and talent and versatility, that UConn backcourt is just better than Purdue's. And with Donovan Clingan equipped to maybe frustrate or handle Zach Edey better than anyone else in college basketball, I think the Huskies get it done.
Yeah, it's incredible. UConn is undefeated against the spread the last 2 NCAA tournaments this season and last season. So I'm kind of with you. I think you got to ride that trend with how well they've been playing and got to figure that they'll cover again tonight against Purdue. But hopefully it is a fun game tonight in Arizona. Well, David, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
All right, fellas, I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. David Cobb with us every week from CBS Sports, and we so enjoy it. And maybe by this time next week, we've got a new coach at Kentucky. Yeah. Jason's Deli, for all your catering needs this spring, this summer, let them take care of it with a variety of delicious choices for all 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner time, groups of 5 or 5,000. Check out the most popular choices with the low delivery fees. Call your local deli for all the details. Vegetarian and gluten-sensitive options. Same day and last-minute orders welcome. You're having an event this week. You don't think you have it just right. Step aside. Let them step in. Let them take care of it. Professional setup. They have it covered. Bringing more to the table. It's a family thing. I know this week's a lot is made about the pimento cheese at Augusta National. It's good. It's great at Jason's Deli. They've got that. They've got all the meats, the breads, spreads, the cheeses. They have you covered in all these locations like Ridgeway Road over across from MUS, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Catering anytime, anywhere. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free, and in every location, that great salad bar with over 30 items to choose from for you to prepare that salad however you would like. Off the menu, you can order the Big Chef salad, the Chicken Club salad, the taco salad, and in all those locations, over by the U of M at Poplar and Highland, at Ridgeway Road, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova, the complimentary free ice cream. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we're talking more college basketball with Shelby Mast.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I'm often called Shell Done because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. There are 7 keys to successfully selling your home quickly at a great price. First, call me. I do my research and advise you on preparation, presentation, and proper pricing that gets you the activity to get the best price. Follow my advice and it can happen. I did mention 7 keys to a successful sale, didn't I? Well, if you use the first key, calling or emailing me, you really don't need the next 6 keys. Remember, that's Sheldon Rosengarten at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. If you don't need me now, write it down for later or for a friend. That's Sheldon at 483-0546 at MemphisRelocate.com. Do it now, and who knows, you may hear your home advertised here. Remember, as bad a golfer as I am, when selling homes, Shell Done gets it done.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's already slow over here at times on 240 East up by Poplar. Expect that to run slow probably for the rest of the afternoon, especially as we get really into the heart of rush hour traffic, as it also cranks up 51 up into Millington. Looks good as you come off the interstate over here on I-40 there at Jackson going outbound on Austin P Highway. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, Shelby Mast, our bracketologist from BracketWag.com, joins us now. Shelby, thanks so much for joining us, and we've been talking with you for the last couple months about the brackets and what you thought the bracket would look like. Then we got into the actual bracket and kind of how it was breaking down throughout the tournament. But now we're here, 2 teams remaining, UConn and Purdue. I think a lot of people have said that this tournament has been pretty chalky, and now we get 2 teams that have been considered the 2 best teams in college basketball most of the season. We'll see them play tonight for the national championship. Did you expect this is how it was going to work out?
I did a little bit. I had UConn. I still in my bracket. I had UConn winning the whole thing. I'm not surprised Purdue is there. I'm glad they are. We get a good matchup on paper. But I kind of thought they might falter and not get to the Final Four. I'm glad I was wrong about that, though.
Shelby, I love the upsets in that first afternoon, that first day, even into that Friday. But I like the fact tonight that the 2 Colossus are meeting. I like the best duking it out. If we change, instead of UConn being the 1 seed in the East bracket, and we just really wanted to penalize them and didn't give them the friendly Brooklyn pie and didn't give them Boston for the East Regional, let's say we sent them all the way out to Salt Lake City and made them the 1 seed in the Midwest, would they still advance to the final game?
I think so. They have looked so tough and so dominant. Alabama played pretty well the other night, and still 14, 16 points. It ended up not being that close. It was for a while, but I haven't seen anybody this dominant in a while.
Shelby, I like how you put it. Bama played pretty well. They did. That was a really good effort and performance. It wasn't great, and the reason why it wasn't great, UConn wouldn't let them be great.
Yeah. The defense really stepped up. Klingon in the middle. Bama didn't have an answer for him, but Purdue will, and that's going to make things really interesting, I think.
Yeah, and you mentioned Purdue and what Zach Edey has done lately. I mean, you get that massive game from him against Tennessee a couple of games ago. Looked really good against NC State. What have you made of this run? Are you surprised how Purdue has done it this postseason because of kind of what happened last year with the first-round exit against Fairleigh Dickinson? Has it surprised you that they've been able to come back and make it all the way to the national championship after what happened last year, kind of like what Virginia did a couple of years back when they lost to UMBC, a 16 seed in the first round, and then went on to win the national championship the next year?
Yeah, it was really nice to see Purdue get over the mental aspect of it. They got the talent, no doubt about it. But, man, I can only imagine what that does to you, losing to a 16 seed. That's the worst. And good for Fairleigh Dickinson, but they have been really tough in this tournament, and it's going to be a heck of a game. And I'm torn. I think Connecticut's going to do it, but would not be surprised if Purdue.
When you look at, you mentioned Alabama and how they played, looked pretty good against UConn in that Final Four matchup. Now kind of going into the offseason, a lot of questions have to be answered. I think one of them being, does Nate Oates return, with his name kind of floating around with now Kentucky open. But if Nate Oates returns and they bring back a lot of this roster and kind of build upon it, do you think Nate Oates can get Alabama, I don't want to say all the way back to the Final Four, but do you think he can go on another run? Because so many people question his style, his brand of offense, where they want to get as many threes as they can. If not, they're going to try to get a layup. They don't really settle for anything in between. Is that style sustainable to continuously make these deep runs in the NCAA tournament?
If you've got enough athletes, it is.
That's right.
That's been his problem, or an issue, I think. Is having enough players to play that style is kind of like Nolan Richardson, 40 minutes of hell.
Yeah.
And he's got the athletes, so keep doing it.
Yeah. And tonight we will have a kind of an old school matchup of the two bigs. I love it. That's not the style for the NBA anymore. The NBA is very much away from that. You're not seeing, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar going up against even Dave Cowens or anything like that anymore. But in college, we get it tonight. It's a throwback. It's a throwback to Ewing versus Olajuwon and other great big men matchups through the years. Can Klingon get the best of Edey?
He might be able to. He's stronger than he looks. I think he's put on weight and not fat. He's put on muscle, and so he's bulky. But Edey is such a mountain of a man. I just don't know if he can or not.
Getting around him's impossible.
Getting around G.J. Burner the other night for Edey looked like it was going to be tough, but he figured out a way to do it.
One thing, there's a couple things I love about Edey. I love how he recognizes double teams so well, and he gets that ball out. Usually, to the weak side is where somebody's open out of the double team. And on defense, when someone's driving the line, he has been very well taught. You go over and put your foot on the out of bounds line. There's nowhere for them to go around you.
Yeah, he is much smarter of a player than people give him credit for, I think. He understands and knows what needs to be done, and he executes it. You get some players where they know what needs to be done, but they don't get it done. He does.
Yeah, no, he absolutely does. I know last week you heard it. You pretty much hear it every single game Zach Edey plays in, but he gets a favorable whistle, and you can't not call foul on him. Do you have an issue with that? I don't. When I sit down and watch Purdue play, it doesn't bother me. I just see a very massive man who knows his body and knows his size and knows how to draw fouls. Do you have an issue with how the officials officiate Zach Edey?
No, I mean, they got to do him a little different because he's so big.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do they see a 7'4", 300-pound guy?
Yeah.
They just don't. He's kind of an anomaly. And so that, I think they do the best that they can, but, they got to understand that he's not trying to foul a guy. Maybe the guy just runs into him and he stops cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely seems like that. I know a lot of talk about the national championship game today, but the kind of bigger news in college basketball now has been John Calipari and his finalizing of his contract with the University of Arkansas. How surprised were you when you saw that last night?
I was kind of surprised, and to do it, the night before and the morning of the championship game, kind of a little bad taste in my mouth. Let them have the spotlight; they earned it. But whatever, say what you want. I'm not surprised he's gone to Kentucky. The support for him was waning. It was just almost non-existent anymore. People calling for his head, and I wouldn't want to put up with that. So I don't blame him.
Is Kentucky the best job in the sport, Shelby?
I don't think so. There've been several head coaches go through there, so it's not like people. That's a good job to have, but I don't think they would clamor for that. I think Duke or Carolina is probably a little bit better. They still have pressure, but I don't think they have the rabid fans like they do in Kentucky. That Coach K had it a long time ago, but that's been 40 years, whatever. So I think they're more adult, so to speak, in the Carolina. But Kentucky, there's a lot of guys that want to win and win now, and if they don't, get somebody else.
Mm-hmm. If you're Kentucky, where do you look for to replace Cal? I mean, what would be kind of your short list or names that you think Kentucky should go out and look at?
Well, I would not be surprised if it's Nate Oates. They may take a whiff for Danny Hurley, but I don't think he leaves the Northeast. I hope they don't go after Scott Drew at Baylor. I think he would be good, but I think he has found a home in Baylor and Waco. I think Nate Oates is the guy, unless there's somebody I'm missing.
Yeah, it will be fun to see how many names go public and kind of get a raise out of working, because there was a pretty long list at Arkansas. Buzz Williams got a raise out of Arkansas. Chris Beard sure got one. Jerome Tang got one. You could even say Chris Jans probably got some renegotiated favorable deals out of it. A lot of people worked them, but in the end, Arkansas they got it right, and people's not lacking for money. Can you believe right there in your area, Shelby, that the firing of Rob Lanier kicked off all this?
That's crazy, because SMU is not a basketball power.
No.
Half the people don't even know they have a team. And so for their coach to get fired and start this chain reaction, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. I laugh at it all. I mean, for the past 24 hours almost, I've just been laughing at the fact that Rob Lanier being canned at SMU has set off this chain of events.
And Shelby, it highlights the power of one person, of intended and unintended consequences to set off this chain of events that hadn't ended. What if Kentucky, like if they got Nate Oates, then Alabama would have to make a move. That would probably be Bucky McMillan, and the move stopped. Sanford would have to get a coach. So we may not have reached the end of the list. Shelby, we have reached the end of us visiting with you on Mondays for this year. We always check in sometimes in August for that first out of the nowhere bracket reveal for you. Is that the hardest, craziest one to do all years when you put one out in August?
It is now, because the transfer portal is open, has been for a few weeks, and then everything's not going to be settled down until probably September. So it's played a waiting game now. It's nuts.
Yeah, any mock bracket done between now and Christmas is kind of wild stuff. But Shelby, we so enjoy your time and love your information at bracketwag.com, and we will check in the summer. And as soon as we get that massive big game Super Bowl out of the way next year, we want to hear from you on Mondays. Absolutely. If you can.
I'll do it. You bring me up. You got my number.
You got it, Shelby.
Thanks,
Thank
Shelby.
you so much.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks very much.
You got it. Shelby Matt's with us every Monday from the end of the Super Bowl all the way through the national championship, most weeks breaking down how he sees the brackets. And this year he had an exceptional bracket on Selection Sunday, doing very, very well, and we have appreciated our time with him. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the hometown teams of the Memphis Grizzlies, of the hometown Tigers, that great new location at 4542 Poplar. Supporters of Tigers Athletics, supporters of the Grizzlies, also the FedEx Forum Floor Seat Lounge right there on the event level floor at FedEx Forum. The Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, wedding bands, engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, 9,000 square feet in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. This week, hang out and just watch the Masters there all week long at Sissy's Log Cabin over at 4542 Poplar. Since 1970, with 6 locations across the Mid-South, Sissy's offers a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Springtime is hot wing time, and time for the ultimate hot wing showdown at the World Championship Hot Wing Contest and Festival. Be there Saturday, April 20th at Memphis River Garden Park on Riverside Drive. See over 60 teams fighting for hot wing supremacy, along with live blues, soul, and rock and roll. All in support of the Ronald McDonald House. It's a sizzling day of fiery flavors, live music, and family fun, and you're invited. It's hot wing time in Memphis. Get your tickets now at worldwingfest.com. This is your delicious chance to make a difference.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You've been having a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch. Soon you'll be having a good time at a brand new Mugshots. Mugshots Grill and Bar is opening their first Tennessee location at 656 West Poplar in Collierville, where you can try one of Mugshots' 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes and it's free, plus you get a free t-shirt. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy.
I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today, it's got to do, obviously, how could it not do with the championship game later tonight, capping off a great college basketball season. But my big number today is 223. That is the combined number of points that UConn and Purdue have combined to outscore their opponents in this NCAA tournament. UConn is plus 125. Purdue is plus 98. That's the highest combined scoring margin by the two finalists entering the title game in NCAA tournament history. So these two teams have not just, won thrillers or, just a last-second buzzer-beater shot to get there. They have been dominating every single game they've played, and it's been really fun to watch.
And it was never a time in either of the semifinal games where you thought Alabama or NC State could pull the upset.
No, not at all.
They just stole their soul in both games. My big number is 70. That's the combined wins for clearly the two best teams in college basketball. That's 36 for UConn, 34 for Purdue. Purdue lost to Texas, UConn lost to Texas, Purdue lost to Texas, KU, and Creighton. UConn losses were to Northwestern, Nebraska, and Ohio State. I don't think I've gotten that right yet. UConn lost to Texas, KU, and Creighton.
Okay, here we go.
Purdue lost to Northwestern, Nebraska, Ohio State, and Wisconsin.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's impressive.
That's very really impressive. That really is.
Northwestern was in the tournament. Sure. Nebraska was here in the tournament. Ohio State played better down the stretch. Wisconsin was in the tournament. We know Texas was in the tournament, got beat by Tennessee. KU's KU, and Creighton got to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, those are great teams. I mean, those are all really, really good teams.
We could replay this bracket in any form if they're opposite each other and they find each other in the finals.
Yes, I think so. And again, I don't like saying that about the NCAA tournament because it is just so unknown and anything can happen. But the way these two teams have been so dominant all season long and then what they've done in this tournament, I mean, it's hard to argue. It really is.
And I'm very sad if I confuse people because I was confused by myself by my penmanship.
Well, that sometimes happens, Brett.
Sometimes it do happen.
I don't have the best scribble.
I've seen Dacus right.
Well, yeah, it's not great.
I've got another special big number. Tonight is 50 years on a Monday, a Monday night since Hank Aaron passed Babe Ruth with the home run to get to number 715. That seemed like one of the most unbreakable records in sports. I know Barry Bonds went on and broke Hank Aaron's, and I recognize that Barry Bonds did it. I know that just saying that's controversial, and I'll get lit up on the text line over that, but I do. But Hank Aaron passed Babe Ruth on this date 50 years ago. And back then, we had a Monday night baseball package that ran on NBC, but it wouldn't start until after Memorial Day. Usually that baseball package, but they had a special edition for tonight. I don't know what they'd have done if he had done it on that Monday night. I don't know if they'd have kept following him, but NBC had a special edition at night, and Kurt Gowdy called the game-winning home run earlier today on the baseball on the baseball channel. It was so good watching, and I'd never heard all three calls played back to back to back. They had Kurt Gowdy's, and that's the one I was watching. 37 million viewers that night.
Wow.
We only had 3 channels.
Well, it makes it easy, I guess.
We
but
didn't have any choice. But they had they had Kurt Gowdy's call. They had Milo Hamilton, who was doing local Atlanta, the Braves network, and of course Vin Scully doing the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Kurt Gowdy, Milo Hamilton, Vin Scully, all in the announcer's wing at Cooperstown.
That's unbelievable. That is crazy.
That's some big heft announcers.
Sure is.
Now, Milo Hamilton was with a lot of teams. Vin Scully famously with one. Well, Brooklyn Dodgers and L.A. Dodgers. Milo Hamilton bounced around a lot. His first big broadcasting break, he was the third man with the Cardinals with Jack Buck and Harry Carey.
You're kidding.
And all three of them in the Hall of Fame.
Wow. That's incredible.
And it was fun to hear those calls, and it was some moment. And today was the first time I put this together. Here's another big number, 44. Hank Aaron wore 44.
Sure.
Al Downing, the pitcher that gave up the home run for the Dodgers, lefty, he was wearing 44.
Wow.
I didn't know that till today.
Holy cow.
And insert your Bill Buckner joke here. That wasn't the only ball that got past Bill Buckner in the 86 series. Hank Aaron hit it over his head into the bullpen with Buckner playing left for the Dodgers.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's really good numbers and really good notes from
and you watch that and to see those times and to see those yahoos that got out on the field and were wanting to hug him. How in the heck did you with all the threats that were around Hank Aaron at the time? And this, catch this when you watch the replay.
Okay.
Hank Aaron at bat, no gloves on either hand.
Really?
No batting glove on either hand.
Oh, I haven't even noticed that.
I seen a baseball card of that. He didn't have no gloves on.
Wow.
He didn't. Also, the famous NBA sideline reporter, Craig Sager, the late Craig Sager, remember him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Young media person in Atlanta. He's right there at home plate. Welcome as soon as he touches home. I mean, it was an extraordinary night.
That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, and you're going to see that a lot. I've already seen it a couple times today, but you're going to see that a lot today, and that's special. That's awesome.
There's a strong case to make for Hank Aaron, his greatest player ever.
Sure. Absolutely.
All those home runs, all those RBI, great defensive outfielder, 5'2" before we had the term.
That's right.
Could run, could do it all.
No, I mean, an incredibly special player. So that's awesome. There's some really good notes from it, though. And speaking of baseball, it was a good weekend of baseball and another good series for the Cardinals. I know yesterday wasn't great, but
I thought yesterday might crack through to 2 over 500,
well,
but didn't.
No,
now 500, back to 500.
Unfortunately, that was kind of.
You know, Johnny made his commitment with us Friday.
I made my commitment.
Wow!
I finally came home.
You're kidding? What did?
I almost pulled the offer.
I was about to say. I mean, what did
we had the NIL deal lined up. We had everything lined up. Playing hard to get. I almost pulled the offer.
Well, I'm glad.
But I didn't.
I'm glad you kept it on the table, Brett.
I wish I was here for that commitment, but hey, I'll take a commitment however it comes.
We missed you Friday. But
yeah, we missed you.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. There's something. I guess maybe I need to
Did you
not
miss
be here
us
more.
Friday?
I did.
Thank you.
I did miss y'all.
Kind of had to play for our compliment there, didn't we, Johnny?
Yeah, man. Like it took him a long time.
Kind of had to dig for our compliment, didn't I?
Dang.
No, I was listening to y'all until I got out to my concert, and then
it had better things to do. That's why.
Yeah, did you hear that?
4:30. Well,
That's
you
right.
know, not great service, and
Right,
couldn't pull it out. Didn't have headphones, so things that happened. But I'm glad y'all had a good time while I was gone. Wish could have been here for the commitment. I would have loved that. But let's wrap up this hour and get to a break. When we come back to start our third hour, we got to talk more about the national championship game tonight. We're also going to get to our Big Four all-time for Purdue and UConn. For one of those teams, it wasn't very hard. It was kind of easy to put them together. The other team, it was a lot more difficult. So we'll do that on the other side on Sports Time.
Is your home screaming for an upgrade? Listen closely because Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is about to make your day. First up, say goodbye to cold showers and hello to endless hot water with our tankless water heater upgrade. Not only does it save space and energy, but it also keeps the hot water flowing exactly when you need it. And here's the kicker. Switch from your old tank to a sleek, efficient tankless water heater now, and Choate's will hand you a $500 credit. Yep, you heard that right. $500 back in your pocket. But wait, there's more. Clogged drains are a hassle no homeowner wants to deal with. With Choate's special offer, get your drains cleared for just $93 or it's absolutely free. That's our guarantee to make it drain or you don't pay a dime. So why wait? Call Choate's today at 347-8086 or visit us online at choateshvac.com. And remember, Choate's, let our family serve your family.
The good folks at Wendy's have a revolutionary new product for you. Introducing the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. It's like a time machine that takes you all the way back to now, the year 2024. It's the classic, creamy, orangey flavor you remember. Dare I say, it's new-timey. It's the flavor you grew up with, just all grown up. Head over to your local Wendy's establishment and get yours while supplies last. The new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. Here for the now, for now.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's a little bit busy at times in the construction zone over here on 55 up around Crump. 240 East already running a little bit heavy from time to time as you come past Poplar, or just trying to get past Poplar, just like it has the last few weeks, as it increases even more now on 240 as you make your way on to 385 going outbound towards Collierville. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And tonight, it's the big night out in Arizona, the national championship. We had the Final Four on Saturday, and both games interesting, but, really impressive with how both UConn and Purdue performed in those games. But now we've got the final set, UConn and Purdue, Donovan Clingan versus Zach Edey. That's going to be kind of the big storyline going into tonight. But I'm excited about this game, but I'm kind of like you. I'm kind of like David Cobb. I am feeling pretty good about UConn tonight.
Still 3 hours till tip time, and every year it's almost like we forget that they start this late, and then we kind of all in the sports collective huff over that time. Okay, I don't prefer it, but I'm fine by it. It's always been, now it hadn't always been 8:20. It was, I think when the Tigers played UCLA, I think tip was, just a little after 8. They came on very, very brief opening, and ball was in there. The ball was tipped, and there you are. and the game was on. And it's moved a little more, with each passing kind of generation for more pregame and things like that. Why in the world, and especially since it's not on not on CBS or a traditional network, I don't know the regular programming on TBS, and I don't know what their standards 7 in the Central to 8 o'clock show is, but let's get that pregame rolling about 7:30 and have that ball going there at 8.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm curious. So TBS, let's see if I can quickly find TBS.
See if I know any of these shows. This would be
great. On my guide that I just pulled up. Okay, TBS. Right now we have The Big Bang Theory on. You familiar with The Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, that's kind of like the Eclipse, wasn't it? It's kind of big, isn't it?
Well, kind of.
I think so.
The dinosaurs?
We got the bingo.
Is it a sci-fi show? I don't know.
No, it's just a sitcom.
Yeah,
about
sitcom.
Some nerds basically is the whole premise of it.
Never watched a second.
I
didn't know
watched
about
much
it.
of it. So we got two back-to-back.
What is it? Original show on TBS?
I think
or did it run?
It's a CBS show, so
this is in syndication.
Category, yes. And so
never watched it.
It was. They don't make it anymore. I don't think. So it was.
Give me a star.
Brad, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Johnny would have to look.
That wasn't the Ray Romano show.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
This was big. Like this show was big.
I need to stop now.
Well, yes.
You quit showing that stupid.
This show was big when I was in high school. So I would say
it was big.
2017,
it was?
2018, 2016 type deal. I think it was on CBS. Now that it's like done, they're not making any new ones. They run the reruns on like TBS.
Now I'm not a great judge though for what the popular TV shows are. What's next on the TBS?
Brett, you're gonna love this. We're starting Championship Central at 6 o'clock. And we're going to do a 2.5 hour pregame show, basically. We got that for 2 hours, and then we have the championship game at 8 o'clock, but we know that's not going to tip until...
All right, there's no way they would do that on CBS, so they're only having that long a pregame because of cable.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Let's start. Okay, fine. Start. They can start it now.
Sure.
Let's tip about 7:40.
Sure. Yeah. I think 7:40 because you also see the people who are like, it's way too late. I don't know why we're doing it. Why can't we get a regular time? And I understand it's in Arizona. Time zones
6:20 their
different. But I'm kind
of. They
like,
love it there.
Oh yeah,
because I understand just epic, historic traffic jam getting from downtown Phoenix out to Glendale Saturday.
I believe it. But I think if you had like a 7:40 our time start, I don't think that's terrible. Or even an 8 o'clock start. I'd be fine with an 8 o'clock start.
I'll take 8:10.
Sure.
At this point.
Bingo.
Just get that ball in there.
Yeah, we're just
I agree. Get it in there.
8:40 or
Come on, Johnny. Time's money. Let's go.
Let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, I'm not.
No need to hold it off.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of that starting.
Going back to
whatever. I'm going to watch to the end because I'm going to watch through one shining moment.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. And now that I was talking to Zach earlier, who produces the morning shows, and we were talking, during one of the breaks of the show he's producing, and I said, well, nowadays with how everything's working out. I mean, used to it feels like, and maybe I was just younger and I didn't realize it, but it felt like you would get the, team, you would give them their trophy, you'd have all that celebration, and then it felt like 10, 15 minutes after that, we were one shining moment, and now it feels like you got the whole post-game show and everything.
Yeah. Eddie Cannons.
And then you've got one shining moment. So it feels like it's
Yeah,
even
it drags.
later for that. I mean,
Yeah, we need to get it in gear a little bit.
we need to.
Pick up the pace.
Whatever. Good
Get
for
this
them.
thing- get this thing rolling. I think tonight the top line, the storylines, the battle of the bigs, but the UConn wings and guards, I think will annihilate Purdue.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Kind of, Klingon, Edey neutralize each other.
Sure.
The other four play against each other. It's not even close.
Right. Yes. And I think Purdue has gotten better in terms of what they have in the backcourt, but when you're going up against a team like UConn that I think can hurt you in so many different ways just with their guards, I think that's going to be the biggest difference maker here, and UConn is just so good, I think, that I would not be surprised if they run away with this one.
Here's Purdue. Here's what they've defeated to get this far. They defeated Grambling, then Utah State, then Gonzaga, Tennessee, and Saturday, of course, NC State. UConn over Stetson, over Northwestern, over San Diego State, and then over Iowa State, and then Saturday, the win over Alabama. Which one's about as wide as it is far, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not a lot of.
No, not a ton. And maybe that goes back to my big number and how
Maybe Tennessee better than Iowa State. I don't know that.
maybe. But
It'd be a good game.
Sure would be. But they made both of them look. Both these roads have seemed to be pretty easy for both teams. And
Purdue probably got a favor with KU being tossed.
Sure.
UConn got one with Auburn out to Yale.
Yep. But I mean, with what UConn has shown, I mean, I think they would have been pretty fine against Auburn. But
Either you guys have a cheering preference tonight, or you all in on one side or the other?
I was telling somebody yesterday that it feels like for a while I would find rooting interest or one way or the other, but these past two seasons I haven't cared one way or the other. So it'd be fun to see UConn go back to back.
I think it would be interesting to see Zach Edey get it. I think it'd be interesting. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to see.
And we talked the draft stock for Klingon, Edey. Klingon's going to go a lot of spots ahead of Edey.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But what if Edey just annihilated him tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the
Purdue pulls the upset.
Sure. I mean, that's the question. I'm sure
That'd be great for his draft stock. That'd be real good for it.
But if I'm an owner of a team, I would hope my personnel people aren't that swayed by one game, though.
Yeah, for
well,
sure.
And that's what.
And if you are, it kind of scares me.
Sure. Well, and that's what we've talked to Keith Smith about this the past couple of weeks during this tournament. He has remained consistent of I don't think the NCAA tournament should help your draft stock a ton. I don't think it should hurt your draft stock a ton because ultimately, at the end of the day, these scouting departments are supposed to be looking at the whole totality of what you've done and then what you project as at the next level. And so, if Zach Edey comes out tonight and has 30 points and Donovan Klingon really struggles and he just does whatever he wants to do against Klingon, then yeah, we're going to wake up tomorrow and people are going to be saying Zach Edey this, Zach Edey that. He's, should jump up on the draft boards. But I think you're right. I think ultimately, I don't think one game should determine where a player should be drafted.
Yeah, I'd like for my scouting department to have a little more forbearance than that instead of that heat of the moment. Danny Manning and that upset in 1988, it really did. I think it shot him up to being the number one pick. Now, at worst, he was going to be about 3 or 4.
Sure.
And just that show he put on to pull a pretty big upset did it. Edey is the best player on Purdue. Is that right?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Absolutely.
Klingon's not the best player on UConn, is he?
No.
No, and that's where
that's more Purdue's trouble.
Sure, and that's where we go, kind of back to what a lot of people have said of that's kind of what separates UConn is they don't have that one overpowering star on their team. They just have a lot of really, really good players that can all step up in their own way. And you've seen, Stephon Castle, who hasn't had, I know that Final Four game, he looked really good offensively, but he hasn't had, the best offensive showing in every single game in the NCAA tournament, but he's been stepping up defensively and giving you a ton, locking down scores and stuff like that. And so, they've got a lot of strengths with a lot of guys that aren't, breakout, can't miss stars, but they're all really, really talented players.
Danny Hurley wins tonight. If he fueled any of the Kentucky speculation, it just gets him more cash at UConn. He's not going to Kentucky.
No, he's not going to Kentucky. And that's the thing. You're going to hear, I almost guarantee that before this week is over, maybe even before tomorrow's over. Nah, he'll celebrate for a little bit. But before this week is over, if Kentucky's not already filled, you're going to hear, Dan Hurley wants the job. Dan Hurley has been talking. There's a lot of smoke around that. And then we're going to get the announcement that Dan Hurley and UConn has agreed to an extension, and he's getting
10-year deal.
This big of a raise. And, I don't think he's going anywhere. He just doesn't fit, I don't think. I don't see Dan Hurley fitting anywhere other than, the Northeast. And I think that's where
feels
he's
very
stay.
Northeast,
Yes.
a high school upbringing, and played at Seton Hall.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Then coached where at Rhodey and a couple other places.
Yeah.
What was his big job before UConn? Was it Rhode Island?
Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, it was Rhode Island. You're right. You're absolutely right. I thought you were right, but wasn't positive. So, he has it. It feels like he's got it made at UConn, and I don't think UConn is just going to let Kentucky
Well, John
come
Calipari and Rick Pitino were Northeastern guys,
That's
and they
true.
made it work at Kentucky.
They made it look really, really good. But with what he's got going at UConn, I don't see it. But maybe I could be wrong, and if I am, then I hope he has success at Kentucky. But I just don't see it.
All right, the big four all time for both places, at UConn and at Purdue. And we both agreed UConn. It was difficult in just the,
Sure.
all the different players. Hard to narrow it down. Purdue was difficult because there's not a lot.
No, there's not. And I think we're going to have very different answers. Maybe not all of Purdue. I'm pretty sure we got one completely different answer for Purdue. I think we might have one or two. Where do you want me to? Which one do you want me to start with? All right, I'll start with Purdue. Number one for me, it's the guy going tonight for them, Zach
It
Edey.
is. It's easy.
It's not even
very
close.
easy.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe, but he is number one for
Then
them.
it gets hard.
It gets hard after that. Two, I have Glenn Robinson for me.
I have Big Dog, too.
Yeah, he's got to be up there. Three, I have
good NBA player.
Sure.
We're talking about it just in college.
Absolutely, just college.
And great there, 94, Elite 8 run for Purdue. Is that right?
Yeah. So I have him at number 2 for me. Rick Mount, number 3 for me.
Rick Mount, who was a member of the Memphis Sounds in the ABA.
That's right. Yes. So
And dead-eye shooter.
Yeah.
Great shooter.
You're right about that. And so
That's my 3.
That's my top 3. Now the fourth, it's very hard for me to find a fourth. So I found some good players. I kind of said, which one was my favorite out of these 3 players? And so I went with, rest in peace, Caleb Swanigan from a couple years back. Big man that,
That's
honestly, if he did not have the year he had at Purdue, what I think kind of started building what Purdue is now, he certainly wouldn't have been drafted to the NBA. He was awesome that couple of years at Purdue. So I have him as my fourth.
He was on that team that had that great win over Tennessee, wasn't he?
That's right. And one of my favorite, probably my favorite all-time Purdue player. I loved watching him at Purdue.
I did too.
So I've got him at number 4. Shout out to Caleb Swanigan.
I was torn. I had him kind of on a. I had Joe Barry Carroll, big man from the last time they went to the Final Four in 1980. And then just pure heat of the moment, the last thing I kind of saw. I was there Friday night for the Grizzlies and the Detroit Pistons. Jaden Ivey.
Jaden Ivey was on my short list for number 4. I almost had him.
And I liked his mom when she was here with the Grizzlies.
Absolutely. She's great. So I like that list a lot as well because I was kind of torn. It was going to be one of those two that I was going to go with. And
Brian, I'm watching during Friday night, and when I say this, I'm not saying that he doesn't loaf.
No.
He plays hard. I think he's got an easygoing style about him, how he plays. He doesn't realize how good he can be.
Oh, no.
If the light, and I think it is, and he's still very, very young, he can make $500 million playing basketball the rest of his life.
Easily.
He could be so
He's
good.
So good. I mean, it's crazy. And how young he is, I mean, it's incredible. It really is.
The Pistons are really young.
They're really young and they're really bad right now.
And I got a feeling they start over again after this year and Monty's out and somebody else is in.
Yeah, it feels like it. It just hasn't worked.
So I went Edie, Robinson, Mount, Ivy.
I like that. That's a really good list. For UConn, plenty to choose from. But here's how I did my number one. Had to go with Kemba. Kemba Walker, number one for me for UConn. Obviously,
I got him 4.
Wow. I mean, well, that just shows how many names you could go through.
MOP of the Final Four.
Yeah, and I mean, just an unbelievable player. Obviously, I was young when that, so I love Kemba Walker. So I had to put him number one. Number 2, Rip Hamilton for me. A really, really good career.
MOP of the Final Four.
MOP for the Final Four. So that's why they're 1 and 2. 3 for me, another favorite of mine, Shabazz Napier. I mean, I had to have
MOP of the Final Four.
I mean,
that's solid, man.
See where
that's
my
solid.
list is going.
Can you mention Napier without Boatwright, though? Aren't they linked forever?
That's a great point. That is a great point. But had to put Shabazz Napier on there. Unbelievable career for him at UConn. And then 4 for me, Ray Allen. It's my 4.
Love Ray Allen. My number 1's Rip Hamilton. My number 2 is Ray Allen. 3, Ben Gordon.
That's a good one.
When he would get on heat check runs, it was college and pro. And 4 is Kemba Walker. That leaves out a bunch. I was Danielle Marshall. I was really torn with. In 1994, Nolan Richardson told people, I think Florida upset UConn in the regional final that year to go to the Final Four. And Nolan Richardson said the team and the rest of the bracket that he was most scared of was UConn with Danielle Marshall and them.
Wow. Well, I mean, good reason, I guess, but plenty of names that to choose from at UConn. Plenty more than Purdue.
And that's what UConn's playing for tonight, playing for their 6th. 3 different coaches, 3 for Calhoun, 2 for Hurley, 1 for Kevin Ollie, first one in 99 with Rip Hamilton to all this level of success in, I think, the hardest period ever to coach in college basketball.
It's crazy.
A lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of staff, a lot of lieutenants, a lot of primary and ancillary figures to help you, but you still got to win.
Absolutely. Did you, because I didn't, but did you, when watching Dan Hurley coach against the Tigers, however many years ago, when UConn was in the AAC, did you ever think that Dan Hurley would be who he is now and doing what he is now?
I didn't. I thought he was too hot-headed, too prone for fits of rage on the sideline. Yeah. Anybody can create new cuss words. You've done something. Most of them are kind of used.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. And for UConn itself, from the Yankee Conference to the Big East, when they were distinctly known as Connecticut and not very good, not taken seriously, for Calhoun to do it and it continued to be done, and for them to recognize this is not the league we want to be in.
Yeah.
In the AAC.
That's right.
They were here and were very snooty here in 2014 with Napier and Boatwright.
That's right.
Boy, boat raced the Tigers.
Sure did. Yeah. No, I remember that game. And
that was a humbler because that was a really good Memphis team.
It was.
I thought that may have been Josh's best team. Was that the 30-win team?
I think so. Might have been. Yeah.
Really good team.
It was a good team. And
how many Kings did we have? 3 Kings, 4 Kings?
There were
4 Kings, right?
4 Kings, yeah.
Yeah.
There were 4 Kings. Don't ask me to name them, but there were 4 Kings.
Chris Crawford, Joe Jackson.
I don't remember the other two.
Help me on the rest of the kingdom.
I'd have to use a break to find the rest of the kingdom. But that was a special time at Memphis when you have the 4 kings on the court. That's great.
And I sent it to you. We didn't talk about it any last Thursday or Friday. And I know in coaching openings, the speculation is rampant. You can almost, if you kept a list of credible people that suggest a name, it could get lengthy. And a local Northwest Arkansas news person tweeted out of interest at her sources said at a high level that Arkansas was interested in Josh Pastner. So we went from Josh Pastner to John Calipari.
Well, that's a great point. I mean, first off, you know what? Good for her, because you're setting the bar at Josh Pastner. And look, I love Josh Pastner. But you're setting the bar at Josh Pastner, I guess, and kind of sounding happy about it. Oh, man, Josh Pastner would want it. He would coach hard. He would get the fan base fired up. Then you end up with John Calipari. I mean, that is one heck of a weekend. But, yeah, that is that's like you said, it gets crazy anytime there's a job opening, and people can throw around a lot of names. But that was interesting to see that. And then you mentioned it earlier, but the fact that last night at 8:12, Wes Moore tweets out, multiple sources are telling me Arkansas has zeroed in on John Calipari, barring any last-minute issues. I expect him to be the Razorbacks' next head coach. And, I mean, I don't want to go search for the times, but I don't think any of the...
I'm going to say 9-ish.
I would say 9-ish was when kind of everybody else got on to the, hey, there's something happening here.
No, you're right. Wes Moore was well before that because he opened his Sunday night 9 o'clock newscast with "It's done."
Wow, and I'm trying to go back and find. Let's see, it was finalized. The tweet from Pete Thamel of "It is being finalized" happened at 10:19. So, I mean,
did Pete Thamel jump on the victory pile?
Sure did.
He didn't have any original reporting whatsoever.
No.
There were 3 last night. Now, the other 2 fixed it. They rectified it. Brandon Marcello, Jeff Goodman, and Pete Thamel were all out there acting like they had the scoop.
Oh, yeah. Well,
both,
classic.
And to their credit, Jeff Goodman and Brandon Marcello corrected it. Said Wes Moore first, should get the credit, et cetera, et cetera. Thamel still taking pats on the back from his media brethren that he got it first.
That's right.
He wasn't even close.
No,
local always wins.
Well, and to further my point of the local guy had it at 9 o'clock and saying, unless something crazy happens, or excuse me, 8:30, unless something crazy happens, he's going to be the head coach. And then Pete Thamel coming in out of nowhere at 10 o'clock saying, guys, Arkansas is going to hire John Calipari.
Takes the victory lap for it. And probably will win some cockeyed, ham-handed award for it. That they make up and have a special night of tribute to bestow the greatness on Pete Thamel. And remember what he did. Never forget it. Summer of 2020, if it had been his decision, college football would have been ruined. College football would have been ended summer of 2020, and he's out there last night acting like he had some original reporting when he was copying and pasting. Some call it stealing.
Well, yes, some would call it stealing.
Wes Moore gets the credit. Wes Moore, the Fox affiliate in Little Rock, also does afternoon talk show on 103.7 The Buzz. I don't know Wes at all. I think I've met him. I'm pretty sure I've met him, but I do not know him. I'm not saying this as a friend. I'm saying it fair. The guy gets the credit.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and good on him.
Story of the year in Arkansas.
100%.
I told a media friend of mine that does news stuff, I said, give me a news story in the history of Arkansas bigger than somebody having the John Calipari, not the coach at Xavier taking the Arkansas job. No. John Calipari leaving Big Blue. I said, give me a news story that's been bigger.
Crazy. There's not one. I mean, that is the biggest story.
Okay, desegregation of Central High in 1957, maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
If we really, if you want to do that, sure. But, in terms of sports stories over the last however many years, I mean, it does not get bigger than John Calipari is leaving Kentucky to go to Arkansas. I mean, it just doesn't happen. Nobody thought he was leaving anywhere. And, again, Rob Lanier made all this happen.
And how about the one lone Twitter outpost that up until noonish tomorrow, I'm going to say Sage Hog Sports. Did you see anything from him?
I didn't know.
Over 11,000 followers. Okay, that's a big number. Into the day yesterday, still hanging on to this story.
Okay.
And not gently alluding to it, reporting, matter-of-factly, that Arkansas and Chris Beard had renewed negotiations.
Oh, how about that?
Man, take your L. Take your big L.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, in the business of sports journalism or whatever, like, there are going to be things that you get a source of that's just wrong. And, like, I think there are some people who, if they get it wrong, if they do go out and report it, they say, you know what, I was wrong, I'll live with it, fine. But then there are some people that they can just not, they will not be wrong, and they will fight till their last breath of,
that's it.
Hey,
It's
still happening.
Brandon Marcello did it with Lane Kiffin to Auburn.
You're right about that. Well, there were several people that did it with Lane Kiffin and Auburn.
But he was out there biggest and boldest, and is he at Auburn?
No. Far from Auburn.
And I know a lot of Arkansas media people and fans that it just kills them that Lane Kiffin and Chris Beard both chose Ole Miss over Arkansas.
Yeah. So.
But all's well that ends well.
That's right. So it's a weird time, and it was weird last night when that happened. But here we are, and John Calipari is going to get ready to start his first year. I mean, coming out of nowhere. I mean, what is he doing? College basketball. I mean,
if left up to him, he'd have killed the sport of college football.
That's true point. But a lot of people forget that. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. You'll find the lowest rates on Tuesday through Thursday afternoons. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, So is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It remains pretty slow over here at times on 240 East, trying to get past Poplar like it has the last few weeks. We're diving some thunder showers out here this afternoon. It's coming down pretty hard in certain areas, certain counties as well. I-40 could be affected if you're continuing out towards Fayette County as you get onto 385 here, Bill Morris Parkway, coming off 240. That's still got some volume. Again, it's been slow today, on and off. 55 coming across the bridge over from West Memphis. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Times. We got a little bit less than 30 minutes left in today's show. Got to talk about what's trending. And Brett, over the last week, over the weekend, there have been a lot of pitchers in Major League Baseball that have been sent to the IL. Some season-ending injuries, some that are going to be out for a couple of months. Today, Framber Valdez, the starter for the Astros, he was scratched earlier today. He's dealing with an elbow injury, and it sounds like they're going to take further looks at him and see what's going on with his elbow. But there's been a lot of talk about what is the issue with these pitchers and their arms that are leading to a lot of Tommy John surgery. It seems like a lot more Tommy John surgeries. A lot of guys missing a lot of time. What have you thought about this? Do you have anything of why you think there's so many injuries to these pitchers?
Evidence to support the pitch clock being reduced has anything to do with it. That's the first thing that the Players Association has kind of glommed on, because management, the owners, could do this without it being approved in the collective bargaining by the Players Association, and they don't ever like giving away 1 inch.
No.
And they kind of ceded on that, and now are whining about it, and I don't think there's any evidence. I don't know if it's the cold weather. We've had some really raw, rotten games, a couple of games while they were playing, and this doesn't violate my criticizing.
No, it doesn't. I asked you a question about injuries.
I just say every year, especially around opening day, especially around the first week, let's get the schedule out and schedule conducive to either a roof or warmer places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we talked about that last week. I mean, would you have Atlanta, instead of them hosting the opening series, they went up to Chicago and played the White Sox in a series that I think
that's pretty
at least
easy
one. Multiple ones were canceled. Philadelphia hosted a series or two that got had some games rained out, delayed. That looked
Blue
really
Jays
good.
Yankees had issues all weekend. Well, play that one where we got a roof.
Yeah, the Mets. We were talking about the Mets last
in
week.
Toronto.
They had guys that they had people in the stands that were all bundled up. I mean, it looked real cold up there in New York. So that's a really interesting.
Did you notice Denver Saturday night for Rays? Tampa Bay Rays. It's got a roof playing in Denver. Was that the only time they could go to Denver all year? Oh man, I'm going to say about a 30 to 40 mile per hour, fairly sustained wind blowing in all night.
Whoa! Wow! No,
and it still was a run-scoring fest.
Holy cow. That's
Imagine if it had been going the other way.
Literally.
That might have been 25-24.
Good Lord. Yeah.
It looked awful.
I haven't really thought about it, but you're right. I mean, there has been a lot of cold games, a lot of weather-related things happening in games to start the season.
And it's not always kind of that cold, warm place going to cold. Here's one. Astros and Rangers. Both have a roof?
Sure.
Why are they playing
Well,
second full weekend?
it's a great question, and I believe
they can't play anytime.
And I think next week they
You couldn't use those roofs for
literally
each other
and
for
that's
other
the thing,
teams.
'cause they're right now they're down at Globe Life, I think, and then
they were right.
And I think
they
they
were.
turn around next weekend and go to Houston. I think they're playing like 2 series in like a week span or week and a half span.
You're right that they are right now because that last game is that rare Monday concluder.
Yeah, so I mean it's interesting, but you're right.
It's a couple places that you just can't help.
Sure.
But especially now with all the interleague, used to when we just kind of kicked it off in June and you just had a select few. Now when we're doing it from opening day on, there's an interleague game every day now. Sure. Let's have a little more judgment about us.
It'd be nice, but it doesn't seem like it. Maybe next year we'll think twice when making the schedule.
The extra innings stuff is close to driving me crazy and causing me to lose it.
Well,
I just can't stand that runner running out to second.
Well, it's not my favorite.
And then so if around the rest of sport, if you did that, which would be such a kind of oddity.
Sure.
If you did it in the regular season, but you got to the playoffs or the Super Bowl and you changed back to real football,
that's right.
Think how everybody would laugh and jeer at the sport doing it. And that's what baseball does. When we get to, magically, when we get to
right.
the first Tuesday in October, we go back to play. Boy, I'm really close. I got to watch
you're
it.
close.
We go back to playing real baseball.
But that is interesting because it's almost like, what if the NFL said, you know what, these games that go to overtime are taking too long. Let's adopt the college football method, and we'll just start inside the 25, and then
or the
go
UFL method,
or the UFL method.
Wow, that's Saturday.
Yeah, that was the instead of an onside kick, 4th and 12. That was
Showboat's up 11 with a minute to play.
Yeah, you think
and lost in regulation.
Think you could
man, Brett, I was so hurt after that, man. I was so hurt.
But the group lock came through for us, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
We were catching 2.5 with the boats, and all of us win.
That's true.
Hey, man, maybe this could be a change of pace.
20-19. Showboats lose, we win.
Hey, as long as we win. I hate that they lost, but I'm glad we won. I'm trying to get a comeback, Brett.
I need to get with the Showboat bankroll because this is now the second week in a row. We're only through 2 weeks. This is the second week in a row that I've come in fully thinking that I lost Showboat bankroll. And I'm 2-0.
No, you had boats plus 2.5 for $25.
Good job, Brian.
I guess I forgot it was 2.5 and that they were an underdog.
Group lock.
Hey, Brett, maybe these group lots going to keep getting back right, man.
Well, we need to, Johnny, especially after that sad bracket finish.
Man.
Well, but now I don't. Hey, Johnny, if you want to go back to the well of the Showboats this weekend, by all means. But man, they're going up against Birmingham this weekend.
Ooh, that's a tall task.
6 o'clock on Fox.
Birmingham has looked really good. They're running a 2-quarterback system right now.
That's amazing, man. That's interesting.
And sometimes running the wing T.
That's right. Hey, I don't know what they're doing in Birmingham.
Two things I really haven't seen, man, in a long time.
That's right. A 2-quarterback system and
the wing T.
It's a great point. Matt Corral, one of the quarterbacks that they run out there.
And he got pulled yesterday.
He did, well,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they went to Adrian Martinez. I mean,
yo, that's crazy.
What in the world?
Adrian Martinez at Nebraska, where? I mean,
it seems like everywhere. It seems like he had to stop in every conference, it felt like, and now is a part of the Birmingham Stallions, so good for him.
Showboat's on the road the next 2 weeks at Birmingham, at St. Louis, big crowds in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
And then back home Sunday, April 28th, 2 o'clock. I think the 2 o'clock start will help.
Be better, yes.
Then 11 on Saturday morning.
That's
it was a
tough
really thin crowd.
It was.
I wasn't that surprised by it. I was fearful of that and got it. It was even less. We were debating what it was, and they announced. I think they announced 8,000.
They did. I have the number somewhere. They announced 8,791 was the announcement.
I have no scan count connection with the showboats.
We'll have to work on that.
But I'm going to say it was closer to 8 people than 8,000.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get out there Saturday morning. I wish I would have been able to.
Game got crazy.
It did.
Ejection.
Yeah, I was watching it. I had somewhere to be Saturday morning, so I couldn't get down there. I was watching it, and it didn't. We were talking before the show started, and it didn't look like a great crowd. I know Jonah Dillon did a story in the Commercial Appeal later that afternoon, kind of talking about the lack of attendance and kind of Daryl Johnson, I believe, was at the game. He's the executive vice president of football operations for the UFL. He was not very happy with the attendance. No, not at all.
But here locally, doing everything they can, and a price point for everybody, very affordable tickets, and we hope a little more conducive kick time will help. Brian, I was almost part of the act Saturday.
Were you?
Yeah, so I leave the press box with about 5 game minutes to go and go down. So there's nobody on the press box side, so I just go down. It was easy to walk around. I'm going to sit in the end zone, watch the last 5 minutes of the game. About the time I get seated, the player for San Antonio gets ejected for a cheap shot, for throwing a punch. And they're walking him to the locker room, and I don't know why I did it, but I yelled, "You're a dirty player!" and he looks up in the stands and said, "Who said that?" I said, "I did."
Oh my goodness!
And then he replies, "Blank you," and I replied back,
I guess.
"Blank you." You're the one that got kicked out. I didn't.
I love it, Brett.
What kind of chance do you think I have with that sparse a crowd that his girlfriend is sitting up there near there in that end zone and comes over and goes, "I don't think you should have said that to him." I said, "He said it to me first."
I love that, man. I love that. Brett, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, man. I love
the dirty player. He's the one that got kicked out.
Sure did.
Brett, I love how you stand on business, man. That's standing on business.
She came over and verbally accosted me.
Time out real quick. Brett, has anybody ever told you before Johnny just told you that he likes that you stand on businesses? Have you ever been told before that you stand on business?
Well, I try.
Well, I'm glad. I just
Brett, I love you, man.
She was mad,
you
too.
amazing.
Well,
I said he got kicked out.
That's how you do it,
that
man.
is-
That is how you do it, man.
And then everything breaks loose with the game.
Oh, man.
I thought he and she both would circle around and find me.
Man,
I sat right there the rest of the game.
I like it.
I wouldn't have blamed him.
Hey, Brian, he's standing on all business,
he
man.
Sure is. Wow.
You little bitty guy, I wasn't scared.
That's hilarious. I mean, that is so. Of
What you
all
gonna do?
the
Hit
games
old man?
you've been, I mean, well,
Come on, you can't hit an old man now.
that's great. Well, maybe game 2, home game 2, will be a little smoother instead of.
You're there in the media. You don't need to become part of the act, do you?
That's that's what they tell you. They come on the big loudspeaker when you're.
I've taken my credential off. They didn't know that.
There you go. They just thought you were a patron. They thought you were just a fan,
Like
loving the
Augusta,
showboat. That's right.
I'm just up here eating pimento cheese sandwiches.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Chris Price, It's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders' team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
The founders of Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect neighborhood bar, like to say that Bell Tavern was created to be an adult bar. Obviously, you have to be an adult to drink at any bar, but at Bell Tavern, you are expected to act like one. You can always go to a bar at a chain restaurant to find people that feel compelled to shout when they've had a couple of cocktails and people that want to get wound up about something. Or you could tuck into Bell Tavern in historic Barbaro Alley in downtown Memphis and enjoy great drinks, great food, and great conversation. You know, like grown-ups.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's time to replace. And right now you can get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. Plus, with our spring savings event, you can buy one window or door and get one 40% off when you buy 4 or more units. Just text MAKE to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no monthly payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text MAKE to 200-300 to buy one window or door and get one 40% off. And right now, save an extra $30 off every unit. Hurry, this incredible offer is only in April. Text MAKE to 200-300. Text the word MAKE to 200-300. MAKE to 200-300.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today was a special night Saturday night at FedEx Forum when Marc Gasol had his jersey officially retired. And what made it even more special, the entire core four was there. Marc Gasol there. Zach Randolph has been around. Tony Allen, very visible around the Grizzlies. But the one wild card was Mike Conley, still active in the NBA, but he flew from the West Coast to Memphis to be here for the game before flying back to rejoin his team, and said that he wouldn't miss it, that he was going to do everything he needed to do to get there to that game to be with Marc Gasol for his big moment. So it was really cool. It was great to see all those guys back together. Rudy Gay was here. Quincy Pondexter was here. I mean, a lot of Banu Udrih was here. A lot of really good names of guys back for Marc Gasol. So it was really cool to see. Really cool to see that moment. And I'm guessing we'll see that 2 more times with the rest of the core four, and it will be special both those times as well.
We will, and it should. And it was a great moment for someone very deserving and a great family. The Gasol boys were really, really big in the sports fabric of the all-time history of Memphis sports. What I learned next Sunday, this coming Sunday, Masters Sunday, is my favorite day of sports of the year, final round of the Masters. But this week may be my favorite week of the year. I do love this week, the run-up to the Masters. And when we get to the weekend, same old reliable product. So many things have changed around sports, but not at the Masters. And I wish people would understand this. Yeah, they have their standards and practices, and they have their own kind of verbiage and jargon. Mm-hmm. It is not stuffy. It is a fun place and thing to go to. Yeah. My favorite thing in all sports.
Absolutely. What I could have done without today, it's what we talked about a little bit in our last segment of the Showboats attendance. It was a wild game. It was a fun game. Showboats go up early and feels like they're gonna win and just get stops, run out the clock, and then we all kind of relearn about the rule of the onside kick, 4th and 12. Here's what I've been telling everybody, because everyone I've talked to, I hate, that's a stupid rule. I hate that rule. It's bad. You would like it if what happened on Saturday didn't happen. Because it happened to you, you're mad about it, I understand that. But I like it. It makes it certainly intriguing. But ultimately, the Showboats lost. And a couple hours after that, Jonah Dillon, who we talk about all the time. We talked to him during the Tiger football season, but he does a great job, like the rest of his colleagues at the Commercial Appeal. But he had the story later that afternoon talking to Daryl Johnson, and Daryl Johnson was pretty frank. They're not very happy with the attendances. Looking around the weekend at some of the other attendances around the UFL, it seems like the XFL places are a little bit ahead in terms of attendance. Their numbers look to be better than the USFL locations. So I don't know if there's anything to that. But I know like Michigan yesterday didn't have a great number either. I think their announced attendance was around what was announced for the Showboats as well. So it's definitely going to be something the UFL is going to be keeping an eye on. But hopefully, Brett, like you said, next time they're at home, we'll be a little bit deeper into the season, and a 2 p.m. start should help attendance for the Showboats.
And I didn't know Saturday, the yellow tops for one team, it looked like you were at a spring game.
Well, yeah.
For a college. I often during the game, I didn't know really who was who.
That's a really good point.
And to me, a little too much XFL for me, and not enough USFL. And I'd just give anything if we had the Showboat uniforms from the day. Could have done without. I know the voters in Kansas City's county, Jackson County, voted down the tax increase to fund the new stadiums for the Chiefs. But guess who's coming to the rescue and wanting the Chiefs?
Dallas.
The mayor of Dallas says, come on back home. It'd be a 60-year return for Lamar Hunt's team back to Dallas. Look, they're not returning to Dallas. They're going to get it fixed in Kansas City one way or the other. But Dallas going for the second team.
I mean, hey, it's worked out
Big
in New
D's got
York
room.
and L.A. Why not in Dallas? But no, Dallas is
used to have two in the
just
Bay
for
Area.
Cowboys. So let's just keep it at the Cowboys. That's all they need. When you got America's team, you don't need two teams. That's the problem with L.A. and New York is, those franchises are not as special as
He's already donated a large tract of land for a new stadium.
Jeez, good Lord. Wow. No, I guess we'll see how it works out for him. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Phoenix for the national championship clash of the Titans night. Big man, big time matchup. Purdue in search of that first one, and UConn already in the nuclear club going for history tonight.
Yeah. So it should be fun. Beam me there as well. I mean, you feels like you can't really beam anywhere else. I mean, that is the big time. NBA's gotten out of the way. You got Major League Baseball tonight, but nothing beats the national championship tonight. We'll get one shining moment, and we'll see who can walk away with the national championship tonight.
And tonight we'll watch a lot of the Golf Channel live from Augusta National, and love Matt Berry anchoring for ESPN there. And we'll watch the other players other than Edey and Klingon. That's the difference in the game, and I think it's a wide gap for the UConn others over Purdue.
Yeah, so we'll see it. It's still a couple hours till
baseball.
We'll be, watching.
Go Cardinals.
Yeah, go Cardinals tonight. It's been a good start to the season.
Stay warm out there in baseball.
Stay warm out there. A lot of cold places in Major League Baseball. That's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. Enjoy the national championship game. We'll be back to talk all about it tomorrow afternoon.